Hello.
Hey everyone.
We all float down here.
So we actually don't have a whole lot of topics tonight. Um, and my kid's awake. Um, so I guess we could start with like the big thing everyone's talking about. Now, originally, I actually wasn't planning on discussing this at all, but I have a feeling this is something that actually really should get discussed and often, and that's this NFL thing.
Yes.
Yeah, and like when this was originally going on with the whole take the knee thing, I was kind of like, who cares, whatever. It's stupid, but honestly, I'm thinking this is like a Gamergate moment for normies. So I'm kind of more in the realm of no, we should definitely be encouraging this boycott and so on and so forth.
No, actually, that makes sense. I hadn't even thought of that, but that does
Mhm.
make sense because think about it. What do most? I mean, compare video games and sports from just how many people in public talk about it. Obviously.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I was kind of thinking that term in those terms. It's like, if we can convince, if we can convince the public that, like, no, they need to put the pressure on the NFL in this whole bit. And, if the NFL, like, it looks like they're realizing, unlike with the games journalism, it looks like they're realizing, like, oh shit, we're losing money, we're hemorrhaging money here, we need to stop this shit. But even though, like, the higher ups of the NFL are doing that, I don't know if the players are going to play ball. So, no pun intended. Um,
What is more of an egg than a ball?
well, yeah.
It's an egg ball.
So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. So yeah, well, I was originally say, well, the NFL thing's not real news. I'm kind of reconsidering that position. And furthermore, it's kind of like when like Gamergate was going down, like we were like desperate for people to talk about it, and no one would, as far as like media goes. So it would be kind of bullshit for us to turn around and be like, nah, that's not important.
So this take the knee thing, it's been going on for a little while, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, it started last year. And the only reason I even remember it being that long ago is because last season on South Park they like discussed it at length.
Wasn't
And
it's that Kaepernick guy, the guy who's apparently not good enough to just play the game normally, so he has to make a name for himself doing this instead.
mhm, which I don't even think he plays anymore. I think he got booted. Now I'm not super familiar with football, so I could be entirely wrong on that. But
Yeah. So he's been what? How exactly should we describe this? Abstaining from the national anthem, was it? I barely
probably,
even remember because I've been just I heard about it and I ignored it, and then it kept happening.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like all the other teams started doing this shit, and then like I guess with the Steelers in particular, there was like one of the teammates. He actually like all the rest of the teammates. They like stayed inside or they like went to a knee or whatever. And like one teammate like went out in the front and like stood for the national anthem.
I
And
heard about that, and I heard it
yeah,
was not like it didn't happen the way it was supposed to. Like the guy, like they were all supposed to come out, but then the guy came out early, and everything got fucked up, and that it's not clear what the hell happened.
yeah, and it's like, and the thing is, people were talking about the guy like he was some kind of hero about it. And then he went on. He's like, "No, I apologize. I should have let my team down like that." And it's like, well, now, yeah, that's right, buddy. Well, now it's like, so now you're not a hero for either the people that initially thought you were or your team. You're just kind of a loser now. Like way to ruin yourself there. You don't apologize. Like
It's not clear. Like the whole this wasn't supposed to happen this way. It was a mistake and everything. It's not clear if that's just them after the fact trying to cover the thing up a bit. And I gotta cover up your other. You have a double here. You had a double from Five Guys. You're gonna get really fat.
oh yeah, I'm already really fat, man. I
Oh,
weigh 370 pounds.
oh. I don't remember how much I weigh because I don't consider it important.
Probably a lot less than I do.
Probably. Uh,
Actually, I've lost weight. I used to weigh 400. Like I've dropped significant weight. I'm actually looking pretty good.
so this
I
take
mean,
the knee shit's been going on for a while.
Mhm. It I guess the boycott's been going pretty strong though. Like the ratings have like plummeted for football and stuff, so they're starting to like backtrack and are
What the
more.
shit is this? Let me turn on the audio. I want to figure out what this is. What the fuck are you doing?
Oh my god. Oh yeah, fuck that noise.
The band playing the national anthem at Oakland A's game on September 20th. Oh, sweet Jesus. Why? What? Why? Of course, Trump. Oh, Jesus. Other sports are doing it too. Actually, you want to see something really, really dumb? Let me bring up one for you. You're gonna love this. So, do you know about the new Star Trek?
Not really. Oh yeah. They got this girl, this girl there, and some media site was saying like she's gonna be like the first African American lead.
Yeah. Well, first they said it was the first. The first black guy. It was either first black or first woman. I think they said the first black main character, and it's like, bitch, please. There's been at least two that are like both the complete length of their series. One of them was a commander and then captain while still being a commander of a star base and a ship. So they changed it to black
really
woman.
Funny.
Yeah, I know. Star Trek Discovery, the venereal disease.
Star Trek Discovery STD, and then Klingon more like Klingoff.
Here's one for you.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Because of course.
Yeah. That's
but
the. That's actually the cast.
Everything I've heard, people have been talking about the show, the Orville, which
I haven't seen it yet, but it's supposed to be real good.
Yeah, I guess it's supposed to be kind of like a Star Trek parody, and I guess it's like really good.
But the reason I brought it up was this gem here, this gem, this just wonderful gem encrusted turd that has fallen on the internet. This is the cast of Star Trek Discovery. This was sent out after the showing. They're all taking the knee.
Of course they are.
So
which more pathetic, the kneelers to the kneeling, the kneelers to the kneeling, or the kneelers to the kneelers kneeling to the kneelers. They're all pathetic, but
people. They are.
What I don't understand is like how is taking a knee supposed to be even a sign of resistance? Like that's a sign of subservience. Like yeah, that's
I know.
Isn't kneeling supposed to be a sign of respect? I don't get it.
So Trump took some issue with all the kneeling going on, right?
Yeah, and he suggested people boycott.
Yeah, and he made a comment, which anyone can make the comment, like, they should fire this guy who's doing this. And it's like, he has the right to make that comment. But of course, because he's the president, it's a far bigger issue than it would be finding anyone else to say it. Because it's like, oh, he's trying to make it. It's like, no, he's saying this as any other citizen would say it. He's not ordering them to fire him. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous.
It's like
I mean, I know he has an itch to say you're fired. Oh, another interesting point, actually, about the Star Trek thing, since it's here. People keep saying that Star Trek is socialism or Star Trek is communism. I recently realized why it's not.
Why is that?
Well, first, technically, it's a post-scarcity, except for one specific resource, a post-scarcity society. All forms of economics that we have, including communism and socialism, are all a model that works under resource scarcity.
Yeah.
Or is supposed to work under resource scarcity. Once you don't have that, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, the whole economic system gets completely redone in a post-scarcity.
Yeah, it's not communism because there's no scarcity for the communism to be operating in. So, And also, interestingly enough, since the dilithium is a limited resource and there's a few other limited resources, they seem to buy those or trade for those.
So,
like, really?
Yeah, it's and I don't realistically believe post scarcity is going to be a thing. Definitely not in my lifetime.
So,
It's hard to say. Maybe somewhere in the distant future. But once
so
that happens, it's like, any kind of economic system we have, that's going to be out the window. Like economics, it's going to change drastically. And I don't know how it's going to change. I mean, I could sit and speculate on it, but I don't really see a point in doing that since we don't live in that kind of system.
So
Like,
all of their stuff is post scarcity, except for certain specific things which are capitalistic.
mm.
But yeah, even these idiots took the knee. Wonder how many of these are Klingons. It's probably the black ones,
Except for the girl.
except for her.
He's the lead.
That's probably right though.
Probably. Oh, I think you can avoid Klingons. I mean, I know they did in like
They made it out. Klingons were supposed to be like Mongolians or something originally, and then of course now they have an albino one for some. We'll talk about that later. So the knee taking continues with random people taking the knee for random sports. Owners of teams taking the knee. In fact, unblock Twitter so I can see some of this content. It was okay. We showed that one.
That's disgusting.
I don't know what that one is. They're taking the knee. Okay, what's this one? Times new cover: the perilous fight. How national anthem protest led by Colin Kaepernick are fueling a debate. Okay, you ready for this?
Mm. Oh God.
Holy fucking shit! The perilous.
Oh my God. I fucking
Holy
hate that
shit!
movie.
It's like you have to expect like it to zoom out a little bit more. And he's like kneeling on the planet Earth or something.
Mm.
Oh my
I
god!
hate Time magazine so much. Actually, I specifically told them I hated them a little earlier today, or I think it was yesterday. Also,
This is apparent. No, this is the official Time Twitter. This is their look. Look, I'll prove it. See?
oh my gosh.
Why can't I highlight aggressively? There we are.
While we're on the subject of Time magazine, check out this bit of stupidity.
Okay. But yeah,
Yeah, because I'm sure he died of natural causes. Like, we'll never know if North Korea tortured him. Yeah, they just put him in a labor camp for 15 years and he just keeled over. Like,
guys, yeah, we'll never know. We have all the evidence. We have the body. We have it right here, but we'll never know. We'll never know.
that's playing some serious. That's playing some serious. I don't know, propaganda for the North Korea over there. That's disgusting. Like I saw that, it's like, really?
What the stupidest thing on the planet are the people who are buying sports memorabilia and then burning it.
Yeah, it's like that's another thing on that too. Like, part of a boycott, don't go buying the sports paraphernalia, like to burn it or otherwise. Even like if there's like the one player who's not taking any, who's acting heroic or whatever, don't even buy his stuff because you're still supporting the NFL by doing that. I mean, that's
Does the player even get a commission for the stuff?
I don't know that they do. So it's I don't know that they do. So it doesn't even matter. You're not supporting that individual player by like buying his jersey or whatever. In fact, I imagine the NFL's that's probably one of the reasons why they haven't been like super quiet about this, is because that sort of division causes people to like run out and buy jerseys. So they were probably expecting to make money off of that. So yeah, that's like, don't, if you're trying to boycott, you have to boycott completely. Don't be like, oh well, that guy's cool because he's not participating in this. If he's with the NFL, he's participating whether he intends to or not.
Yes, exactly, chat. Exactly. This man was stabbed a dozen times. We may never know his cause of death. There's too many staples. We don't know what did it.
That poor dude.
So, I'm trying. Also, there's this other thing going on now where some people are putting their arm up in the air. I'm not really seeing this one.
Okay.
But yeah, see, this guy's his arm in the air.
I mean,
I saw
raising a fist as a form of rebellion makes more sense to me than taking a knee.
and then
So, like,
there's
taking a knee is like servitude. As far as I'm concerned, these people are bowing to God Emperor Trump when they're taking a knee.
is this
to
a
the nose.
marching band where some of them are disgraceful?
Wow. Like, what are they crawling on their knees as they march? Like,
Well, they must be stopping and doing it at the stationary portions of their march. I mean, for some of them, there's plenty of time to do it. I've seen a lot of these routines because my father used to direct the marching band in his high school. He was a teacher.
yeah.
What's this one? Oh shit! What have I done? No, don't print.
That's good.
Boo.
Like, I mean, the audience is clearly pissed.
So someone must have taken a knee. Be getting a boo. I like how it just kept going back and forth. I thought it was in a loop for a second.
Yeah, this is the sort of thing that's gonna red pill my grandmother.
Wait, why can I not unblock it by clicking on it? This is.
Oh yeah, apparently they got basketball players doing it now.
Do you hear my furious clicking?
I do, yeah. Yeah, but the Celtics and the Knicks, those are basketball teams.
What the fuck are you?
They would probably get baseball doing it too, but baseball season's over.
One of my blockers blocked this, but I don't know which one it was. I don't want to unblock Facebook if these were Facebook.
That's fine.
But yeah, the Rockets and the Knicks opened the preseason and joined arm in arm. The Celtics also showed unity as a team, standing together with their arms crossed and their heads down. Let's try turning the ad blocker off and see what happens.
National Hockey League isn't doing it. Oh no! Try taking the knee at a hockey league, and you'll end up with a stick in your face.
Okay, it's not the ad blocker. Let's try Facebook.
Come to think of it, if you wanted like a real rebellion, like if you wanted a protest that would mean something, try taking a knee at a NASCAR rally. All right, that would be great. All right, I wouldn't agree with it, but at least I'd have to give you points for having balls.
Yeah, balls that were probably in your brain in the form of tumors. Do I have the net? No, I don't. What are they? That is so weird. Oh well, I'm running out of things to unblock. Why I took my knee in solidarity.
No one cares why you took your knee.
Land of the free, home of the brave is when this person knelt down.
Yode Khan says maybe normies will stop paying attention to sports ball play video games like real men.
I don't have a good enough range of facial expressions with this thing to express how retarded this is. That this person knelt while singing the lyric. Yes, singing the lyric. Land of the free, home of the brave.
Cork says they're trying to bring this shit to esports. What are they gonna have, like the characters kneel during the opening anthem?
Are they just gonna teabag things? I don't understand.
Oh, you mean like people like playing the esports are gonna? Yeah, that's really stupid.
So this woman was singing apparently, and when she got to that lyric, "Land of the free, home of the brave," I don't know why. Oh, that's why it's silent.
Part of the screen failed there.
I think woke up my son and startled him.
What happened?
Oh, when you started the video, like my kid woke like freaking out.
Okay, they're holding a flag. We're good so far. Okay, where we going?
In this case, Michael Brown.
Why are they all locked in arms? That's
They're locked in arms for solidarity. Yeah,
and she's still going.
oh yeah. Go up, man.
Where is it? There she is, kneeling. Why are
Strangling
you
the
laughing
cat.
about this shit?
It's the NBA.
She turned red when she did that. By the way. She turned completely red when she did that. It was kind of funny, actually.
I like Yoda strangling the cat. Yeah, that.
It was, yeah, it was a little bit. And, I mean, we don't like strangling cats here.
No, not particularly. Oh. Yeah, thankfully he's out.
I cringe into a pretzel, but it doesn't feel worth the effort.
It's really not. So yeah, that's then. You know, this is. I don't know how this is going to play out, if they're going to keep doing this shit. Like you said, it looks like the NFL looks like they're like, okay, this isn't working. We got to stop doing this shit. But I suspect the NBA will probably keep it up for a while, especially if they got like the ovation they got there.
This is just going to keep happening and keep happening and keep happening because, oh my God, Trump's evil. We got to do this against Trump.
You know, I would say that, but it really depends on the sales figures for the NFL. I don't think they're going to pull a Gawker and keep going into the negatives on this. I think if they start seeing their sales figures plummet, they're gonna put the leash on tight.
The problem with this is that it'll shoot up your sales figures of one party and drop them with another party. So you'll end up with you won't notice something until another thing happens. Like you're gonna have to go full partisan to the one side that likes this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, in the future, you're gonna be screwed.
The thing is, it's like with the figures, like they've done polls on it. One of the polls I seen, it was something like 84% of people are pissed about this versus, you know, the other 16% that support it. So it's, you know, their sales figures are gonna drop.
What was the percentage that didn't care?
I don't know.
Because if your didn't care percentage is really low, you've got a very polarizing issue.
Yeah.
Man, all this kneeling and all this arm locking and shit. It's. Wasn't there an article somewhere that was like football fans don't need to be your audience? Football fans are over, but it didn't quite say it that way.
I don't think so. I know I had stated like that's going to happen. Like I suspect that if the NFL doubles down on this, those articles are coming, or they might anyway.
I love how if I type, my mic picks it up and the mouth starts moving.
Actually, there's a good chance that even if the NFL, you know, tells these people to straighten up and stop doing that, like, you know, ESPN or whatever is going to be like, nah, you know, those aren't our real audience anymore.
Oh my God, look at these.
Which would be really bad for football.
Okay, I heard DirecTV was actually allowing people to refund.
Yes, they were. Because people like do pay-per-view events for this sort of shit.
Look at this gem from the lovely Rolling Stone, which has apparently picked up moss somehow and is now a swamp.
Well played.
But yeah, they're those critical when players kneel, lock arms in solidarity need to face up to what they really fear. This is about racism.
No, it's really not. People don't like it when you disrespect the national anthem and shit. Like,
Where'd I put it? Oh, here's whatever the fuck Mashable is. They're the ones that have these graphs to tell you how popular a story was.
TV customers are canceling their NFL sports packages over these profits. Good.
That's not what the title in the link said it said.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd the title and the link say?
Let me go back on the search results to see it. If I can find it again. Because I didn't realize it was going to do that, so I didn't preserve it. But it said they couldn't it said fans who couldn't handle the protest were doing something. NFL fans who can't handle protests are canceling their DirecTV sports. ...
That's an interesting take on that headline. That's funny.
And look at the first few lines of this article. Ignorance is bliss, especially when it comes to free speech at football games. That's what Trump supporters and other football fans who can't handle sports activism seem to think. So it sounds like they might have changed the headline. But Google has the old headline.
I like that sports activism. Like, people watch sports to get away from activism. Like, I mean, it's the same with like video games. You know, people play video games to get away from this crap, which is why they get really angry when you try to like push this crap into it.
Here's the title on the link. Isn't that interesting? Let's try something real quick. I'm gonna go forward on that. Well, let's try. Okay. Archive.is. It is IS right now, right?
Yeah, I think so. Archive's been acting screwy lately, I've heard.
No one's archived this one, it looks like.
Go ahead and give it a try.
Yeah, this one's not archived, at least not under the URL that it used to be under. Well, actually, it's the same URL. That's interesting. The URL is very simplistic, though. It's like a summary URL. DirecTV, NFL, protest, cancel, refund. Or protest, cancel, refund. It's like keywords in a string, which would have fit either headline.
It's not a bad idea.
But yeah, they're going after... well, I like the sites where the old headline is still in the URL. Those are great. Those are always funny. Because like you can't even cover your own ass right.
Yeah. Yodi Khan saying, yeah, that's why I don't mind leftists being disrespectful to the flag. It just drives the normies away. Yeah, pretty much.
See, Google is becoming more and more shit for this news stuff, too, because they'll aggregate a certain type of news story near the top.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Like CBS Sports, The Guardian, NBC News.
U.S. flag code. Okay. Oh,
and guys, as we just
shut
saw.
up.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. Yeah, that's a thing. The flag code.
It's like, so... You see, this is how petty they're being. It's like, oh, this person's wearing clothing that has the flag on it. It's not even that the person's wearing the flag. They're wearing clothing that has the flag rendered on it, which is actually not against the flag code.
It's that's kind of a weird gray area.
Yeah, it is a gray area, but
because it actually used to be, and they kind of changed that during the Reagan administration.
Yeah, well, you can understand why, because I mean, a lot of people, but you still
well,
can't
like hippies used to
flag.
wear flags as like shirts and stuff as like a way to protest.
Yeah, which is still. But look, notice how petty they are. CBS here is so petty that they have to come up with a way to have a story to bash them. So they're like, Patriots fans burned their team gear while violating U.S. flag code. So, well, you know what? We can have free speech too. Fuck you. That's amazing.
Yeah, the whole thing's silly. You people on your side don't respect the country or the people's religion. Yeah, you target the government because people love hating on the government. That's true.
Yeah, and what I had noted, I heard
Democrats
something.
like the tax man.
Actually, let me double check something before I bring that up. Yeah, it's a crapshoot. I'm trying to find something now because I heard about a news story last night, but I couldn't actually find the story anywhere. And since I can't find the story anywhere, I can't, you know, I can't say that it's actually happening because I have no proof of that. Oh well, we'll have to see if I can find something.
I'm trying to find it. Yeah. I'm looking up the next topic here. I'm trying to find a good article for it. Let's see. So we have while people were protesting the NFL or protesting the flag during the NFL, we had a shooting that occurred that ended up on page 14 of your newspapers.
Yeah, it did.
Pretty much. So in Antioch, Tennessee, we had a gunman that went in and decided to shoot up a church, a Burnett Chapel church. There was one person that was killed in the parking lot outside the church, and then he went in and started shooting at parishioners within the church. And apparently an usher had tackled him and tried to take the gun, and then the shooter got shot by his own gun during the altercation there, and I think the usher got badly injured as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, the usher was in bad shape, although he's stable now.
Yeah, he's stable now. I think the other parishioners, while they were in serious condition.
Look at this! For fuck's sake!
I don't think the other ones have died yet. Yeah. Antioch church shooting suspect had note about revenge for church massacre in Charleston.
This is
that
what
doesn't surprise me.
This is what certain people want. They want tribalistic wars of this kind, supposed tit for tat revenge events. And that's what all this rhetoric, the whole Black Lives Matter rhetoric and everything helps push this. It's like, okay,
yeah.
Can you please explain to me how you're getting revenge for a church massacre by attempting to commit a church massacre? It's like, well, that's the church that's against our church? No, that's not the case. Oh, I know what it is. This church is full of white people. Right? Right?
Yeah, I guess he used to attend it.
That's probably how
he was attending it for a while.
Oh, God.
And then, he was done.
Everybody heard that black holes are racist. I'm just waiting to hear that cancer patients are less racist because they have lower white counts.
Give it time. Oh, yeah, we hate on the media here all the time. The media is our biggest enemy. That's why we do what we do.
Yeah, that's...
Apparently, this guy's also a Sudanese immigrant. So I actually expected it was going to be Islam related.
Oh my God! It's like it's almost like someone took this guy, indoctrinated him to do this with the knowledge that upon being caught and being a Sudanese immigrant of some kind, it would help fuel the then response to his terroristic act.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think about it, that's a perfect scapegoat there to create. It's like, oh, it's because he's an immigrant, and then they push the white nationalists start going.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell! This is too easy. I yet people are gonna fall for this shit. I'm just waiting. Where's all the people being like, oh, we have We had to go and find some of these Sudanese people and attack them. I'm sure that's somewhere.
Yeah, but apparently, yeah, he this doesn't seem to be like Islam connected at all. It seems to be entirely racially motivated.
Yep, racial revenge for crap.
What an idiot.
I have trouble believing that people are this stupid, but it's just presented to me every day that I have to start to accept it. People are just this dumb. People will actually push and believe this racist shit, and they will go on attempt to go on killing sprees because of it.
It's absurd.
Oh, well, this a bunch of black people got shot here by some white guy. Well, I'm gonna go shoot a bunch of white people in an oddly similar situation, because that then makes me right. What? That's a lot of screws loose, I have to say.
Yeah.
Any other news come out of this, or just the fact that he was an immigrant, which is irrelevant, and the fact that he was racially motivated?
Not too much. There's been, aside from the one person he killed, nobody else has been pronounced dead yet. It looks like they're probably going to recover, including the usher. He's been hospitalized as well for the shot he took, and then
He accidentally shot himself in the struggle. So he killed someone. Was it someone who even went to the church in the parking lot? Because you never know.
Yeah, it was one of the church. It was one of the churchgoers. Nice. It was like a 40-year-old lady.
Jesus Christ.
Then I guess all the other parishioners in the place, they were all like around like age 60 or so. Like it was a bunch of old people.
Yeah, it was a bunch of old people. Like I saw an interview with I think it was the usher, and he was quite old.
Oh, the usher was actually he was.
No, it wasn't then it wasn't the usher. It was then the other. It was someone who was shot. It was someone who was shot in the hand and in the chest or stomach, and they were they very briefly struggled with the guy, and they were I think the first person shot inside or something.
Mm.
And they were very old, and their wife was there too, who was also shot.
Jesus.
And I wasn't clear if they were a staff of some type. I'm not sure which one though, which is why I said usher. But I think the usher was actually a stronger, younger person, weren't they?
Yeah, he was like 20 or so.
Oh, that's good. But yeah, it was a staff of some kind, so it was a religious member of the structure of the thing.
Oh yeah, well, they're all gonna be religious there. But
well,
yeah,
you know what I meant, like of the actual part
of like the leadership there.
Yeah. So taking bets on how long until there is an event that they will claim is revenge for this one. Anybody?
Oh, I hope not.
You think this one has been Well, actually, the ironic thing is that these particular stories, when they're this direction, they tend to get buried pretty effectively.
No.
So, do you want to move to the next one? I just saw the chat bring up.
Yeah. Shout out to Western Warlord. He's pretty much been like super on this. So,
American traitor, Lieutenant Spencer Rapone. That's the search line I have for this one.
Yeah, this guy was a scumbag. So.
Actually, I have the tabs with the Twitter threads open somewhere.
Okay. There's actually 6 Twitter threads. Like, this guy's been on the ball with this.
Jesus Christ.
So, that's what I was saying. Like,
do you have all of them? Because I've only got 2.
I actually do, yeah. He was really cool about it, and he actually made, like, a thread to, like, categorize all his threads.
He made a thread of threads?
Yeah.
He made a thread?
Yeah. Like, dude's on top of it.
My. Okay, let's see.
So I should probably find like a picture of this asshole first.
Oh yeah. Hold on, I'll pull one. That's
okay.
Yeah, I know just the picture to get. Oh, this guy looks so fucking weird too.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find a better one on the way.
You know who he looks like? Have you ever seen Shawshank Redemption?
Yes.
He looks like the captain of the prison guard from that.
I like how if I try to search for the picture, it just searches for communism. That's kind of funny. Yeah, let's pull up images.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that on Murray. I'll have to look into that here in a minute. All right, so yeah, this is the gentleman we're talking about here. What a piece of shit. I guess, well, as you'll see in the thread later, like, apparently the whole message inside the hat thing, that's actually really common. I guess, like, all the officers do that because, like, after graduation, they throw their hats out to the crowd for, like, the kids. So, and they're all supposed to have, like, inspirational messages and stuff in them.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So,
oh, gosh.
Yeah, so, like, that was,
Okay, I have the link you just gave me here, though it looks like this is a thread, not the thread.
this is the first of the 6 threads.
Wait, there's 6 now?
I said there were 6.
For some reason, I thought there were 4. Oh, I guess because
No.
I had 2, so I was just adding.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me. Oh, what's this? This one actually has pictures in it. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Comrades, I just realized, in full communism. Oh, my God.
Communism. Press the communist button to pay your respects. So here's Lieutenant Rapone, once again lionizing violent revolution and his beloved comrade Lenin. Then we have, underneath that, Lieutenant Rapone calling for guerrilla warfare against the United States government. This was always his end game. So he's currently making my way through Das Kapital as well. David Harvey's obviously great use here. I read Chase Guerrilla Warfare 4 stars. Went through 2 back.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense for him to read these things, obviously, given his line of education and temporary employment now. But it's all like it's the context of everything, and the fact he's stating why he read these things, and it's
here's noted communist Drexel professor and white genocide enthusiast George Cicerello celebrating the idea of a communist liar.
I have a degree.
Oh, is that where you're from?
Drexel. I went to Drexel University's College of Engineering.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Did you ever run across this asshole?
No, but I was in the College of Engineering, not the College of fucking stupidity.
Right. As you can clearly see, this is not a case of someone simply expressing free speech or harmless political opinion. Rapone's stated goal is violent revolution and guerrilla warfare in order to destroy the U.S. government. This would be direct violation of the oath he took when he agreed to serve in the military. This is punishable under the United UCMJ. Some other few bits and pieces. His service timeline is hard to pin down. Rumor is he was only in Ranger Battalion for 5 months before he was kicked out, returned to regular duty, and alignment, which raises a few questions.
I heard he was in Ranger Battalion, and then he got kicked out of that. And he was in Ranger School, and he got kicked out of that. And then he ended up at West Point somehow.
Yeah. Good evening, William. Not sure how valid the rumor is, because at some point he did serve in combat and was awarded a combat infantry badge. Also, being in Ranger Battalion means he was airborne qualified, and people kicked out of the Ranger Battalion would usually go into an airborne unit. But depending on which units needed manpower more, it's not impossible that he was only in Rangers for 5 months. Next, his route to West Point. This is where it gets interesting. How did he go from a lowly enlisted soldier to U.S. military academy? Well, in what appears to be his wife's Twitter account, he found the answer. Prior enlistment, he applied for West Point as an E3. Now, this immediately raises a red flag for me. How the hell did an E3 get a prestigious spot at West Point? Timeline seems odd. Rapone graduated West Point in 2016. It means he would have started there in fall 2012. So we can see from his football recruitment website, Rapone graduated high school in 2010. So even if Rapone joined right out of high school, he wouldn't have graduated basic training until October of 2010 at the earliest. The really weird part, this guy says, when I joined the Army, Option 40 contracts, Ranger Indoctrination Program required 4-year commitment. To clarify, for Rapone to even have a chance to serve in a Ranger Battalion, he would have had to sign up for 4 years at least. Yet barely 2 years into the service, Rapone is off to West Point. How is this possible? Something weird happened. You aren't just allowed to leave and head to a prestigious military academy in the country while in the middle of enlistment, not unless you're very close to someone who has a lot of pull. But even then, this is damn near impossible. So the biggest mystery I'd like an answer to is who sponsored Rapone for West Point? Why was he sent there so soon after enlisting? And did the person who sponsored Rapone know about his communist activity? If so, was placing him in West Point a deliberate act because of this? There are a lot of red flags in Rapone's story, service, and timeline. And it's not just the Soviet ones hanging in his dorm room.
This explains some of the rumors I was hearing. Now we might see this in some later threads, but this explains the rumors I was hearing where it doesn't make sense why he was there. Someone must have helped him get there, and it would still be very extreme. Like people were thinking he was a plant or something.
Yeah. Apparently, Rapone's dad is a politician, the chat's saying. He got in due to a fellow politician.
I see. So apparently, somehow, so good at football suddenly that he gets in a local record, like he's in newspapers and stuff there, in an actual record book, and then also suddenly at West Point. I don't know. I'm as someone who graduated magna cum laude, I become suspicious of things like this. Because I had to work pretty damn hard to get what I did, and I still didn't even get to the top of the thing. I was close. I think I was like at the top 6%, but maybe top 5 for Summa. Still, this just rings odd to me. I mean, fine, good. You're great at let's say you got the football thing legit. Okay, good. How did you flunk out of 2 different military things that were rather low and then end up at West Point? Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Even if I don't care what family relations you have, this is ridiculous.
Can't be a plant. He's too stupid showing his power level. Yeah, that's kind of the other thing. We got thread 2 here.
He has power level of 7 out of 100.
So, a few more points about American traitor Lieutenant Spencer Rapone, why this unacceptable criminal and what it means going forward. Lieutenant Rapone's defenders are trying to play this off as an innocent display of political belief. And then showing some pictures there. Aside from the fact that you explicitly can't do this in uniform, this is also a complete lie.
Yeah.
Rapone's shows is much more sinister.
Yeah, this is a political statement while in uniform, which is explicitly not allowed. It doesn't matter what political side it is, even.
All right, so let's take a look at the sole article Rapone posted on Medium. This is his Medium profile. It says infantry officer in U.S. Army. The views expressed in my work are my own and do not reflect the position of the Department of the Defense. Troop left. The title of his article, which he apparently wrote after the death of Heather Heyer in Charlottesville, the Confederate collaboration of West Point, following the events of Charlottesville, which united leftist socialists and anarchists pushed back fascist menace and that murdered Heather Heyer, a groundswell of emancipatory activity continues to grow. The toppling of Confederate monuments, Confederate soldier memorials in Durham, North Carolina, has sounded the death knell.
Yeah, so this is not anything too special here. This is just the standard, lefty crazy.
Yeah. Like right off the bat, we can see the utter contempt he holds for U.S. Military Academy, the place that recently graduated him. The article is mostly a bland denunciation of racism in southern U.S., which is fairly typical left, you said. One part in particular stood out and reminded me of why many of us on the political right said when they were removing statues. We thus come to a related historical problematic arising from choosing the side of emancipation in this matter. The vast majority of the founders of the United States were white, slave-owning, property males. For example, where does this place the legacy of George Washington and Thomas Jefferson? If you have chosen the side of liberation on this matter, then the answer becomes clear.
Yeah, he's deep in there.
So we were told we were overreacting when they said they weren't going to stop with the Confederates and the Founding Fathers were next. But as you can see from the highlighted selection, that's been part of the plan all along. which means they don't just want to erase racism, they want to erase the very foundation that this country was built on. Marxists and communists will not settle for democratically taking over. They will not settle for working within the parameters of the Founding Fathers' vision. They want to tear it all to the ground. There's one more part that stuck out to me in this article. Read the last line about the Long March. Until our demands are met, we will continue the Long March.
That's an interesting closing.
This is not the first time Lieutenant Rapone has used this phrase. Comment from his Reddit account explains it better in chilling detail.
Okay,
I'm currently an infantry officer at Fort Drum, New York, assigned the same brigade that she was while she enlisted. Every single day, I think of contradiction as of being a communist while in this organization. Their courage and tenacity gives me the strength to continue the long marches through these institutions. Rapone could not possibly have made his intentions more clear. His goal was violent total revolution by destroying the U.S. from within. Lieutenant Rapone was not a man simply content to hold his personal beliefs while serving his country and defending the Constitution. Lieutenant Rapone's lone objective was to use his position in the military to subvert democracy and help establish a communist state. One of the most significant outcomes that will come from this controversy will be how we change how we look at democratic socialists. I hope that's true. As you can see here, the Democratic Socialists of America are desperately trying to help Communist Rapone. DSA legal seeking immediate counsel with background in military law to represent service member.
The Long March through the institutions. The phrase Long March is a reference to the prolonged struggle of the Chinese communists, which included a physical long march of their army across China. But the Long March through institutions is specifically a slogan used by student activists. And it's about basically taking over institutions by, for the ground up, becoming the professionals inside of those institutions. Think of what happened to colleges already in this country. And then the way he's speaking about this and going to West Point, which generally gets you into like high-level positions of command and things, or, you know, and command can involve teaching at West Point too.
I want to say that Yode Khan brought up, because I was actually curious who he meant when he was saying she. He's talking about Bradley Manning.
Oh. So his
Most
goal
likely
is to become like the corrupt professors of the colleges, only in a military setting.
Yeah.
That's disturbing.
So therefore, in my opinion, completely reasonable to assume there is no difference between the DSA and communists. They are the same. Ever since the story blew up, Rapone has gone radio silent in social media, and others assumed he was being kept from internet access. I and others have assumed he's been kept from internet access. After all, a man who brags so openly about being a communist in American military uniform would surely have something to say right now. Oddly, this is not the case. While Rapone has not posted or deleted anything, he has liked hundreds of tweets in the last 24 hours.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it would appear that he understands how dire his situation is and how he would love some legal help from his DSA comrades.
This is, I mean, I don't find it unusual that a group to which he's politically aligned with wants to offer him aid, legal aid. All this does is just show how strong his connection to this group is, either literally or like directly or ideologically. So, like, the fact that this group wants to help him in itself is not a negative thing. But the fact that this group is like, we are the Democratic Socialists.
Yeah, well, it's kind of makes the Democratic Socialists look like the monsters they are. And it makes them look a little less subversive and a little more like blatant. Well, I'm not gonna say less subversive, but makes them
more
look
subversive,
more
actually.
More subversive.
A lot more subversive, actually.
Makes them look blatantly like the traitors they are. And finally, speaking of legal issues, many of us have wondered just what the repercussions are for our dear traitor, Lieutenant Rapone. Speaking privately with other vets about this one, a West Point graduate who would like to remain anonymous had this to say. He'll be court-martialed for conduct unbecoming. He will be released from active duty. He won't be able to maintain security clearance.
And yet his information is still in the computer, which means it can still be linked to China like mine was.
Yeah, and then includes him from security clearance. There's a lot there, but I'm thinking he had a buddy who thought it was cute. His thing, real talk, most of these cadets are still kids and don't realize the gravity of what they see as just quirkiness. You see he has it in his hat and under his dress blues, not open in front of leadership. Attack officer NCO saw that shit and it would be game on. The picture of him putting his affiliated card next to his uniform is what will get him in most trouble. I did stupid shit as a cadet. This is criminal, and he'll have to deal with that. All right. So in conclusion, please don't let any leftist fool you with claims of unjust political persecution against Lieutenant Rapone. His actions and his words more than enough evidence to show that he wanted to use his position to subvert democracy. It's a clear dereliction of duty. American traitor Lieutenant Spencer Ramon spat upon the oath he took to uphold and defend the country. He deserves everything that's coming his way. End of thread 2.
I've gotten lost. Oh, there's why. I was trying to find the picture and I couldn't find it because Twitter it collapsed it on me. Okay.
Let me go back to the chat here.
Actually, is there an additional comment here? So I'm looking for the picture of his ID, but it's just mentioned it. He didn't show it.
Wooly Ram in the wait a second here. Wooly Ram in the chat says communism is a sickening inversion of Islam. One is a political economic system with religious overtones. The other is a religious system with political economic overtones. Yeah, actually. All right, so we got thread 3 here.
Jesus.
Yeah, like so there's six threads of this guy. Like this guy was on top of it.
You have to get donate money to him or something.
One more thing I wanted to add on Rapone, since I'm getting comments like he's just one guy, not a threat to the whole military. It's not about him being able to recruit a guerrilla militia within the ranks of the army. Those views are enough to disqualify from service. Oh, my bad. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. All right. Give me a second. Yeah, we gotta. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I know you're juggling a kid. I can hear him flying through the air.
There's a lot going on here at the moment. All right.
That sounded aggressive.
No, that wasn't bad.
Okay.
All right. So give me just 1 second. I'm going to relocate, and then we will continue with thread 3 here. Just a moment. All right.
I'm taking a look to see. There's no. I'm going to see if I can find something real quick. I want to see the ID of this guy next to the political party membership card, but I don't know if I'm going to find it.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, I was just trying to find the guy's name so I could copy it properly. Thank you, Raindrops. That'll save that. Yeah, Raindrops brought up another story. We should probably.
Yeah, I don't even know anything about this story. I only briefly heard about it.
Oh, you hadn't heard about that? Oh, that's a fun one.
This will be a fun surprise for me. So. It's not about him being able to recruit guerrilla militia from within the ranks of the army. Those views do disqualify him from service. It's like this. If I'm in his platoon and we had to go to war with North Korea, I'd have legit concern he'd be another Naidel Hassan or another Hassan K. Akbar or another Bul Bergdahl or some horrible combination of any of these traitors. It's a very realistic concern that if we went to war with a communist country, he'd try to kill us before we deploy or frag us while we're in our country and then defect to the enemy. His own words validate the reality of that threat happening. How any company, battalion, brigade commander in good conscience allow that, because every soldier in the company or platoon is going to constantly be looking over their shoulder, anticipating the worst. Be a huge distraction that would greatly reduce the combat effectiveness of the unit. This is why Lieutenant Rapone is unfit to serve. And
yeah, just a very clear summary of the danger of it. Just explaining why it's so dangerous to allow it, because literally we could be going to war very soon, possibly, with people that he actively is espousing support for politically.
Yeah.
That's weird. That archive IS link that Rain put in the chat doesn't want to work.
Huh. Archive's been acting weird.
No kidding.
So this is thread number 4 here. I'm about to send you.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, I do want to say that I really appreciate this Western Warlord guy. Like, he's been on it.
Well, you know what it is that this really pissed him off. and because he
Yeah.
knows the true level of why this is sketchy.
This
as
is
fuck.
bad. Yeah.
That's so weird. That's the same exact URL, and yet it didn't work.
Huh.
Oh, it didn't. It's not properly encoding. That's weird. That's really weird. It's
I do have to say, I like how at the end where it says thread, it shows a little helicopter.
okay.
That makes me smile.
Oh, that is so
American
weird.
Trader. Okay. You ready? I'll go.
I just want to throw in it's not the missing HTTP on the link actually. For some weird reason, the first link that you put in the chat there has 3 hidden characters at the end of it. And those are what broke it.
That's weird.
3 non-printable characters after the EZ.
That is really bizarre.
Yeah, EF, BB, and BF. Quite odd codes. But they were hiding in the URL, and they were invisible. You couldn't see them until you actually tried to copy the URL back out. I actually noticed that before with Google's chat. Like, they keep breaking URLs.
That's strange. Well, it might just be an issue with the chat. Anyway, so thread 4, because we're only halfway done. So American Trader Lieutenant Spencer Rapone became indoctrinated into communism while he was attending West Point, not before.
What?
Yeah. Okay. So apparently, Rapone's father, through a change, occurred during his deployment to Afghanistan, but this is not actually true.
What?
So
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah. In regards to my son Spencer Rapone. Oh, he is the Lawrence County Treasurer, Richard Rapone. Okay. In regards to my son Spencer Rapone, I disavow his political views and overall politics. I'm very disappointed in the direction he has chosen. His father greatly saddens me. As a young man, he's personified patriotism in high school. As a member of the civil, he applied to be a West Point cadet at the time. He was not selected. Enlisted in the U.S. Army right out of high school. Later served as an Army Ranger and deployed in Afghanistan on a special mission. He applied once again to West Point and was accepted. It is my belief when he returned back from Afghanistan, there is a notable difference in his political views. Spencer's my son, and I love him dearly. However, I do not like or condone his politics, his actions, or his behaviors.
Now, this is interesting because then the question becomes if he applied the first time and didn't get in, and there was the question if he was such a low-level person, how do you apply and get in the second time? And then this guy, his father thinks that something about his politics changed after he deployed, but our guy here is saying it was later. So he got into West. If he hadn't changed yet, then he gets into West Point and changes at West Point. The question still becomes, why did they accept him?
This becomes really interesting and actually really tragic. At the end of his time as an enlisted soldier, right before he started attending West Point, Rapone was a Ron Paul supporter. I would say, I don't know how you make that kind of plummet. Because,
look at this.
Yeah, I'm looking at the October 2012 stuff. It says, no doubt that Ron Paul would have schooled them both. The two-party system's a travesty. Another travesty is the fact the Electoral College hasn't been abolished yet. Well, I disagree there. Yeah, the life of Ulysses S. Grant is fascinating. Just a constant cycle from failure to success. And yeah, okay, it's just a bunch of weird stuff. But, yeah, apparently, yeah, he was a Ron Paul supporter.
There's a lot of hate for the Electoral College, especially even on the libertarian side of things, for people who don't quite understand what it's doing. Now, there are possible alternate solutions that are similar to the Electoral College, but are a bit more stable. But it's kind of funny because it's like the opposite of getting rid of it. Getting rid of it would actually make things worse.
Worse, yeah, it would. The chat seems to think that his father's probably a pinko too. Then beyond that, he was fairly apolitical. He tweeted mostly about Steelers and WWE, stating, "Man, do I hate politics? Wouldn't you like to see Ron Paul kick Newt Gingrich at the end of the debate? If only we were fortunate enough." Rapone started attending classes at West Point in 2012 or 2013. His Twitter feed showed no far-left political leanings during this time. For some reason, during 2013, he began to show hostility toward the academia and its students. At some point between 13 and 14, Rapone made a hard left turn and became radicalized into communism. First evidence of that, it said, that would go great with my pocket-sized manifesto, communist manifesto on my bookshelf.
To respond to the chat, I do have to point out that technically, at some level, everyone is self-serving. Even if you're helping your community, it's your community.
Mm. Yeah,
I am pessimist, so I am going to have some pessimistic views. But a self-serving politician, I mean, everyone's a self-serving something or other.
Oh yeah, if the politician's Democrat and PA, yeah, you're probably right. He probably is a pinko.
Oh, he's probably not like a destroy the government and replace it with my thing kind of pinko though. He's like actual pinko. He's probably like let's make the changes I want to see in some way where they are done properly in their system.
Are you saying he's a pinko and not a full-on red?
Oh, is that the difference?
Yeah, I guess so.
My full understanding of pinko is that I have a game where space Americans fight space communists. And one of the units says, die, commie, pinko.
Yeah.
I've been playing that since I was like 12.
As to what caused it, we can only speculate, but these tweets might give them a hint. Let's see. Man, big time conversation with my eternal teacher and dear friend Jeff DeMarco tonight. What a human. Man, who would have thought that the Sharks would only be... Okay, so the powers that be champion the idea of critical thinking, but completely subjugate the actual practice of it. But I guess that's what they want: high grades and academic wealth on paper, but no actual underlying.
You're reading in the wrong order. That's what's happening.
Oh. All right, West Point. Okay, so it goes. Then the first thing he said was, West Point, where someone who does not even have a marginal understanding of GWOT receives a higher military grade than you. I guess that's what they want, though. High grades and academic wealth on paper, no actual underlying substance.
That's global war on terror, by the way.
Oh, okay, right.
My guess is his thought is that since he served at some level, he then has more experience and tactical understanding of the global war on terror because he was involved in it.
Right. Interesting. Okay.
This is odd because just to point out, being annoyed with powers that be, as they say, taking general critical thinking over practical experience in a certain area. I mean, that's a legitimate concern. The thing is that critical thinking works outside of that outside of the zone of that practical experience, where that practical experience only applies to a specific area. Right. That's why they do pick someone who's a critical thinker over someone who has practical experience in general. Now, if they were doing something very specific, then someone with practical experience would be a higher priority just because they already know what to do.
Yeah.
But his complaint, it makes sense here, but it's just this is not an academy to spit out people to fight the global war on terror. This is an academy to spit out people who are, able
critical thinkers.
Universally for any situation, which would require critical thinking.
So let's see. Spencer Rapone's timeline looks like this: 2012 pop culture, 2013 counterculture and punk phase, and then 2014 hard left turn to communism. Something happened to him at West Point. Something influenced him and led him down the destructive path of Marxism.
That's the difference. That's so weird.
That is weird. The difference between his tweets in 2012 to 2014 is night and day. He also started with his anti-military commentary in 2014. Let that sink in.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah, he became anti-military while attending a U.S. military academy. There's a cancerous tumor within West Point. And the leadership in the place must address this. Rapone was radicalized into a communist ideology either by a fellow student or worse, a professor. This question must be answered. The mentors he mentioned must be... yeah, it is. The mentors he mentioned must be investigated immediately. There's a cancerous communist tumor that must be removed in West Point.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
That's a completely different turn on this whole thing that I thought was going on. I thought he infiltrated his way in there.
Yeah.
I still wonder how he got there, though. Don't you?
Yeah, I kind of do.
Like that's there's still a question there of how he even got in, because
I'm thinking his daddy just pulled some strings somehow. But
yeah, and then his dad, thinking back, is now thinking his son had changed when he came back from war, because that's the simplest time. Oh, that's the biggest effector of people. You always hear people come back from conflict and they're different. So when your son is acting very different, and it's shortly after this he came back from combat, you assume that's what it was, and not that it was what he did after that. But that's very interesting.
Yoda-kun says, I'm not overly fond of the global warming terror, but I realize that most men in uniform have no control over that. Yeah, that's kind of
global war on terror is, the problem is that you're fighting something which is it's an
undefined.
idea. You're fighting an idea. Good luck fighting an idea. You can fight instances of that idea, but you can't fight that idea. And by saying that you are at war with that idea, you make your life so much more difficult than simply saying you are at war with this group and this group and this group and that group that all believe in that idea. It's much easier to actually target people than to target ideas. If you target an idea, you make it subversive and you make it popular.
Yeah. All right. So the next thread is actually a link to a Breitbart article, and he's only got like 2 comments on it. So I'll go ahead and post this one next.
I like someone listing all of these. Wow. Look at this. There's a nice little image back right here. Oh, there's the picture. There's the picture I was looking for that I couldn't find on the right here. Hold on. Can I get this bigger? Hold on. It'll take a second.
Okay.
I have to pull it out of the HTML because there's multiple pictures in this tweet, which means it's a pain in the ass to actually get to the picture. There we are.
No, it's.
I didn't get much bigger. But yeah, look, U.S. Army, his thing, his uniform, and then Democratic Socialists of America membership issued to Spencer Rapone, official socialist organizer. Wow.
That's crazy.
This is the picture that he tweeted out, which is I think even worse than the message in the cap, because this is a flagrant. This is like flagrant and impossible to dispute violation, because it's a party. It's a political party.
Yes.
He's fucked.
Bad folks. Like this way, the organizations like TSA veterans are crucial. But we need to organize within ranks.
Things that are right to the chat, right and wrong that we have now, even if you're looking at a purely pragmatic system, the things that we have determined are right and wrong are the way they are because they help and hurt society. And if you help society and you live in society, well, it's a net positive anyway, even if you were selfish. I mean, basically, a selfish person who's smart enough to have the knowledge of the effects of his actions will still do the things that are best for other people. Because in the end, it's best for them too. But it requires a level of intelligence to go with your, Okay, pulling the next thread up.
All right, and this one's got a link to a Breitbart article. He doesn't say a whole lot here. It's like West Point mentor who may have helped radicalize American traitor Lieutenant Rapone was placed on administrative leave. West Point says the decision was unrelated to Lieutenant Rapone, so it seems like this guy has done something else to get him under the radar. One interesting point, the trip Rapone and Hoysen took to India was in 2014. This coincides with the period with which Rapone started to radicalize. No.
I know the cat's mouth is moving. Ignore that. I'm just clapping at whoever made this.
All right. Oh boy. West Point mentor of soldier. I'm reading the Breitbart article now. A soldier now under investigation by an army for engaging in political activity while in uniform and administration leave. Breitbart News has learned. The advisor is Rashid Hussein, professor of Middle East history, was in charge of Second Lieutenant Spencer Rapone's development at West Point. A West Point spokesman confirmed he's on administrative leave, but can't confirm the details are unrelated to Second Lieutenant Rapone. At West Point, Hossein had mentored Rapone. The two apparently traveled together to India in 2014, maintained a close
Wow.
relationship until Rapone graduated in May 2016. Also, during that time, Rapone's Facebook grew increasingly radical and leftist. Rapone's activity caught the attention of command authorities this week after he posted photos of himself in West Point. Yeah, we know that on Sunday.
Wow, this is weird.
Mhm. And then apparently he tweeted a photo along with the words "Veterans for Kaepernick" during the national anthem to protest a football game. You know, the earlier topic we discussed.
Like I could try to edit a communist cat, but I'm not an artist.
On Monday, he retweeted a picture of himself in West Point uniform exposing a Che Guevara shirt. It's against army regulation. Yeah, those. I'm more interested in the teacher here. On August 7th, Rapone posted a photo on his Instagram of that thing that you showed, the Democratic Socialist American membership.
Yes, that's what I've been. Well, this is a long article. Fucking hell. But that's what I've been
Yeah,
looking
it
for.
is, but it's mostly all the stuff we've been talking about. Now, Rapone posts on several forums in support of Chelsea Manning.
Is that picture on the article? I don't see it, but I could be blocking it by accident.
No, it's not on the article.
I'm still looking for a clean version of that picture because I just have the image macro here listing his various violations.
Posted January 18th on Facebook. May we all learn from her example of what integrity and strength of conviction truly entails in response to Chelsea Manning. Yeah, let's see. Rapone has posted on Facebook holding Communist Manifesto with his army dress uniform in the closet. Post a number of posts showing opposition to Trump policies, administration officials, and support for Senator Bernie Sanders since at least 2015. No surprise there.
Oh, it makes me wonder if this is the first guy that professor might have done this to, if the professor is the one who caused this, or if perhaps this is just the first idiot he's done it to.
Yeah. Willie Ram says, I don't know what's more worrying, that a politician can pull strings in West Point or that a commie indoctrinator in West Point. Probably either way, the failure point is probably the same. Yeah. Yeah, Sanders is total social justice warrior. Well, at Rain. So March 18th, 2014, Hossein posted on his Facebook page, back from the Taj Mahal, and it delivered 2 days later. He posted a picture of himself wearing a long tunic and Rapone wearing a turban, long tunic with a caption, brothers are going to work out. Rapone has posted about anti-corporatism and racism. Yeah, okay, let's see. All right. August 19th, 2014, Rapone posted a picture, showed him in a classroom with another soldier. The intelligentsia, the caption read, Hossein was tagged in the picture, suggesting they were Facebook friends at the time. Since 2014, his post became increasingly anti-racism, anti-Israel, pro-Muslim, pro-communist, anti-military, and anti-police.
Who was his friend at the time on Facebook? Was it saying?
It was Hossein and Rapone. They were friends on Facebook.
Oh dear.
Hossein's bio on the West Point website lists Rapone as one of the 2 cadets he last advised.
Yeah, advised, and was able to read the social media and see all the things the person was saying, and apparently didn't have any issue with it. Fucking hell.
All right, we got one more here that will.
One more of these glorious threads.
One more of these glorious threads, and this one's particularly glorious. Like, he went and got a lot of info here. All right, hold on, I'm trying to get this to you. The last thread.
Okay.
All right. American trader Lieutenant Spencer Rapone, scathing details about his time in service, character, military bearing, and instability. Red helicopter. I want to start by saying that all this info comes from SOFREP article that's behind a paywall, so I have to cut and paste from Reddit.
There's a paywall, but I can show the picture they have here. Holy fuck!
Oh, you hadn't seen that one?
No, I'd seen like a thumbnail one, but I didn't quite catch what was going on.
Yeah.
Is this graduation?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't have a gape mouth for this. I guess we'll just go with the yelling. We'll go with the yelling. Um,
Yeah, I didn't know you hadn't seen that picture.
I saw it in passing, but I didn't catch what was actually going on. I just saw his smug ass face. Fuck me.
And so we'll start with a summary that we already know, but author Travis Allen gives us a hint as to what Rapone really thought of his leaders. More details have emerged about Rapone's short time in the Army and potentially conflicting political beliefs. Summer, while student at Ranger School, Lieutenant Rapone reportedly clashed with his chain of command, repeatedly being disrespectful of senior NCOs and officers, culminating in telling his battalion commander that he does not agree with the U.S. military action overseas. Rapone's social media presence remains public and includes inflammatory political statements for commissioned officers in the U.S. Army. He calls President Trump, officially his commander, a fascist. He says other military members lust for war and conflict. They fetishize violence. He says West Point was a bastion of reactionary politics and imperialist violence. The Communism Will Win writing inside his graduation camp was, I thought, just a secret subversive way to stick it to West Point. Turns out it's a bit more sinister than that. The message was meant for children. More curiously, one photo shows he had written "Communism Will Win" inside the uniform hat before the graduation ceremony. Tradition at West Point has graduating cadets write inspiring words of encouragement, typically including money, and leaving them in the hat for a ceremonial hat toss. Children then flood the field, collecting as many hats as they can. It can be inferred that Rapone intended this message to be read by a child. The article goes on to describe what you are and are not allowed to do in uniform when it comes to political activity.
Yeah, pointed that out.
Yeah, West Point in the Army did not let soldiers and officers make political statements while in uniform. We've said that several times. Allen goes on to state there is no way that Rapone could possibly not known what he was doing was against regulations.
That was the point of why he was doing it, obviously.
Yeah, he graduated from West Point as a member of Class 2016, 400 Academy, served for 2 years. He's 11B infantryman, 75th Ranger Regiment, played in Afghanistan in that capacity, and as such, we did not have any overlapping time at the Academy, but when I was a cadet from 26 to 2010, we were very clearly instructed that our free speech rights as a service member were curtailed due to our profession. This was taught in the constitutional and military law course as a mandatory part of the curriculum to graduate. In no uncertain terms, we're taught that political statements while in uniform are completely unauthorized. Allen was able to speak with the instructor from Ranger School and personally interact with Rapone, what he said was shocking. After Rapone's social media activities went viral earlier Tuesday, I spoke with Ranger instructor from the 5th Ranger Training Battalion who personally dealt with Lieutenant Rapone while he was a mountain phase in Ranger School. The Ranger instructor, does not wish to be identified, confirmed that he was present and witnessed firsthand multiple acts of defiance and disrespect from Lieutenant Rapone to various members of the 5th Ranger Training Battalion, include senior enlisted personnel and officers, which included sharing political beliefs which were encountered in the interest of the United States, could be easily construed as consistent with insider threat.
Okay, hold on a second. I understand the whole West Point thing. So was the Ranger stuff after West Point then?
I thought it was before.
That's what I thought. But then according to... See, there's some confusion on this timeline here because... well, I'm pulling the microphone and everything. There's some confusion on this timeline because if the Ranger thing was before, then why...
He would have been radicalized before he entered West Point.
Yeah, so... I'm sketchy on this timeline. Like, if more stuff comes out about this, like an actual timeline is going to have to be put down, and then little things are going to be pinned on this timeline to see what's actually going on.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Because something's sketchy here, timeline-wise, and I'm just not sure what it is. Because one thought, yeah, there is Ranger School and Ranger Battalion, but he lost both. He got, I believe, kicked out of both of those things. But I thought that happened before West Point. I thought both of those things happened before West Point, so I'm sketchy on this timeline.
Willie Ram's asking, how is Rapone not screened out of the military? That's what we're wondering.
Yeah.
Said even the IDF, which is a conscript already, would have booted this Joker for half of this shit.
I need a timeline because, like I said, it just doesn't. Yeah, there we go. He got kicked out of Ranger Battalion before West Point. What was So was Ranger School before Ranger Battalion or? Okay. So Ranger School was after. This makes some sense.
Okay. The mountain phase at Ranger School, students conduct a 10-day field training exercise where they are graded on leadership abilities while conducting patrols. Student needs to only pass one patrol. Most students are given 2 or 3 patrols to achieve this goal in order to advance the Florida phase. According to the ranger instructor, Lieutenant Rapone failed all 3 graded patrols he was given. However, he received favorable peer reviews, and the lengthy written reports from his graders indicated Lieutenant Rapone was tactically competent, but simply failed certain critical no-fail tasks during each of his graded patrols. Under normal circumstances, this results in the RI telling the ranger student he will be recycled to join the next class to try the phase again.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like if they're good at everything, but they're missing key critical things, well, then going through the course again should resolve that, and then they could end up being a useful asset. But this is odd because this Ranger School was after West Point.
Yeah, Ranger School continued 3. We get a glimpse of his true character, arrogant and insubordinate. During Lieutenant Rapone's counseling session, when he was told that he had failed the phase by Sergeant First Class RI, he became disrespectful, to include swearing, showing no military bearing. Ranger School students do not wear rank. Therefore, while Lieutenant Rapone technically outranked the RI, his rank was meaningless at the time. After this display was reportedly heard by 2 nearby first sergeants, they intervened to tell Lieutenant Rapone that he was now going to be recommended to drop the course due to his insubordination. Decision to bring him before the board is damn near unheard of. For an officer to behave this way. Wait, hold on, let me read. The decision to bring him before the board is damn near unheard of. For an officer to behave this way, I'm speechless. It says, going to a battalion board for failing patrols is totally outside the norm. His apparent blatant disrespect to multiple senior NCOs got him presented in front of the 5th RTB commander, the lieutenant colonel, as well as every key member of the chain of command for the 5th RTB, who would decide if he would recycle Mountain Phase, start over at day 0, or be dropped entirely.
Why?
At the board,
Why would he not just be dropped entirely after this? I don't know how they could think they could fix this, especially after he supposedly got out of graduated from West Point and everything, and then he can't even respect basic authority.
At the board, Lieutenant Rapone once again showed a complete lack of military bearing and outstanding levels of arrogance and insubordination. So, upon reporting for the board, it was clear to all present that Lieutenant Rapone was showing disrespectful attitude and how he carried himself and interacted with the members of the board, talking back, sighing, rolling his eyes. Lieutenant Rapone argued that Lieutenant Colonel with the lieutenant colonel and disrupted the rewritten reports. 3 separate RIs who created him individually on 3 separate occasions. There's no fucking way I failed that patrol, he reportedly said during this board.
So basically, he thinks that he's done everything right, that he's above all these people.
Yep.
Which is really weird because, they don't just drill pure rank into you; they drill situational, not rank, but you know what I mean. Like the fact that even if you're a higher rank than someone else in a certain situation, if they're the one in command, you follow what they say. And in an educational situation like this, it's very obvious.
The board commander, suspecting that Rapone wanted to be dismissed instead of forced to voluntarily drop, got creative. But before recommending a course of action, the battalion commander typically wants to understand the mindset of the student. Having his file, he knew he was a second lieutenant and a graduate of West Point. After asking about Rapone's background, trying to understand his mentality as a leader, Rapone reportedly said that he disagrees with America's military actions overseas.
This is like wanting to be fired instead of quitting because of the unemployment.
Yeah, exactly. After telling Rapone that his mind said he should not be leaving soldiers, members of the board suspected Rapone was trying to goad them into dropping him so that he would have a story about bold defiance in the face of authority. Knowing this, the commander suggested that retaining Rapone in the course would benefit him, an opportunity to train and grow as a leader. To this, Lieutenant Rapone allegedly replied, "I feel like that's just a threat," implying they would not in fact recycle him. With that, the commander announced that he would be a day one recycle and dismissed Rapone.
Not a day zero recycle.
Let's see. Rapone pouted and stomped his feet like a petulant child all the way back to Fort Benning and then refused to restart Ranger School. At this point, Rapone repeatedly continued to be a nuisance for the RAs assigned to escorting him back to Fort Benning, resisting even simple requests to help expedite his out of process from the mountain phase. Once at Fort Benning, Lieutenant Rapone reportedly refused to restart Ranger School, rendering them a self-selected drop from its course, and what referred to as lack of motivation drop. Lack of motivation is a mark of shame in the infantry officer. It is a career death sentence within the infantry community, especially with graduates for West Point. It does not force the officer out of the military, but lack of motivation will follow you, and every future commander will know that you quit Ranger School, an unofficial guarantee to not be selected for key assignments, and your career will be over before it starts.
Not only that you quit, but you lack of motivation quit.
Mm-hmm.
That's like you literally did nothing.
Yeah.
Like what? Wow. That's like you went there just to be a burden.
So, as you can see from the last paragraph, Rapone's career was from then on basically dead in the water. For an officer to voluntarily drop from Ranger School for lack of motivation, he was never going to succeed. This is going to be a stain on his record going forward. Allen concludes the article by explaining why Lieutenant Spencer Rapone is utterly unfit for duty. Let's see, beyond simply being a disrespectful junior officer while at Ranger School, Lieutenant Rapone's statements of opposition regarding U.S. foreign policy and hyper-partisan postings on social media should raise eyebrows for anyone in the military or involved in national security, let alone an officer who's required to obtain and maintain a secret security clearance as part of their commission. As an infantry officer, Lieutenant Rapone would be responsible for leading a platoon of 40 infantrymen directly in support of American foreign policy objectives overseas, a concept he has freely admitted he opposes. At the time of regular whistleblower leaking incidents, most if not all stemming from partisan political beliefs counter to the U.S. foreign policy objectives, Lieutenant Rapone's demonstrated behavior will likely be of great concern to the U.S. Army and other branches of the military concerned with insider threats.
Well, yeah, he's an inside threat. That's like he literally pushed his political beliefs. He pushed his political beliefs. They thought he was just trying to get forced out, and that's why he was saying this stuff. So they pushed him back to day one. And there was a petulant child after that, and this is astounding. Someone who graduated West Point is So it still likely happened at West Point or in his time actually serving, one of the two. But the father thinks while he was serving overseas, and the poster here thinks that it was indoctrination by someone at West Point, which I think, given the evidence, the West Point indoctrination seems the most likely.
Yeah, it does. So in summary, what we have here is basically a typical communist, snide and petulant in the face of authority, unearned arrogance completely beyond measure, indolent and insufferable. It should by now be crystal clear to all of Rapone's leadership that he must be removed from the military. This article paints the portrait of a traitor, of a man who had no problem turning his gun on fellow soldiers, a man who would never think twice about betraying his country, a country he for some reason agreed to serve while hating it. If Lieutenant Rapone is given a slap in the wrist and let it continue, he'll be a danger to every soldier who serves underneath him. And if those soldiers feel threatened enough, well, those things have a way of working themselves out on their own. Bonus, a few other points I'm getting fed in DMs. I'm just going to sum up here because to keep the people involved anonymous.
These are interesting.
Rapone wanted to drop his West Point packet, and Ranger Battalion commander refused to sign off. Rapone went behind his back and did it anyway. Rapone contacts a senator or congressman. They put pressure on the Ranger Battalion to okay the packet to get signed. Rapone's commander, who had originally refused smokes the shit out of Rapone's commander, who had originally refused, smokes the shit out of Rapone's enlisted soldiers for not catching Rapone's circumventing command. Rapone is obviously buddy fucker extraordinaire.
I believe smokes mean it refers to punishes to the point of like hundreds of push-ups and stuff like that.
Ah, okay. Let's see here. Fast forward after Rapone was kicked out of Ranger School, he claimed to a fellow soldier that it was due to his political beliefs, another communist characteristic, the inability of any semblance of personal responsibility. Also, apparently, at least one person high up in West Point knew of Rapone's politics because they consoled him on it not using SM for it. Also, same high-placed WP source says that Rapone is not the only commie anti-American in the United States military academy or in the Army.
Okay, remind me, which one was before West Point? Which one was after school and battalion for the Ranger thing? For him.
I think the battalion was before and the school was after.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's all of it. So
yeah, that makes sense. Ranger battalion signed packet from West Point. Yeah. Which made the battalion be after. No, wait, what?
So yeah, confused. That was quite. He's a fucking commie brat. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused by this because Rapone wanted to drop his West Point packet at Ranger Battalion. Commander refused. But West Point packet would be after graduating West Point, right? So, but then some of these details are a little fuzzy just in this final summary because I'm not sure which they're talking about. Ah, okay. That makes sense. Ranger Battalion controls the school. So even though you can consider them two different things, it's all under similar headings.
Gotcha, so okay.
Yeah. So, and it's for different purposes. I believe Yokan was saying in the chat earlier, one of them is for lower level, one of them is for higher level or something like that.
Court says he should go to the Pinochet flight school.
Yeah,
I think that the gentleman that wrote all those tweets that I read agrees, considering that he started them off a little helicopter.
Double check a few things from chat real quick. Interesting. So yeah, the way he got into the school was he got kicked out of battalion before West Point. Then he went to West Point. And then he went to the Ranger School, which is a subset of Ranger Battalion, specifically for yeah.
Okay.
And then, which is already interesting because you would think he wouldn't get in there because he had been there before, but that's probably why they refused his West Point packet, and he had to go behind their back to get them to take it. Was probably because he had prior history with them.
Yeah.
Although I'm still wondering why he ended up out of Ranger Battalion in the first place. Before he then applied to be and went to the Ranger School, which I believe is, being the school, it's for the higher level of stuff. It's for people who are a higher level. When they come out of that, they would be in a higher level than just people in the battalion. But it's very interesting. I still wonder why he left the battalion in the first place. Okay, the chat's checking to see if they remember a story for why he left battalion originally, I guess.
Gotcha.
But it is weird because if the first time he left was because he wasn't good enough, that would make sense because he wasn't, according to this timeline of events, he wasn't indoctrinated yet.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy Western Warlord's kind of a badass.
And Arch.
He stabbed himself in the back 12 times. Threw himself in the back.
Why am I reading vote? Yeah, I kept reading Yotcon as VoteCon, like it was some sort of Star Trek election.
Yeah. Well, I think it's supposed to be like Yode-con, like Coyote.
Carelessness and insubordination. Yeah, that was that part. Okay.
Ooh. All right. Let's see what this is here. Poll news. Yeah, communists graduate from West Point. Spencer Ramon was previously kicked out of the Army Rangers for carelessness and insubordination.
Interesting. Very interesting. Because it's odd. Because then the question becomes, well, how did he? What exactly did he do wrong the first time? That then supposedly West Point was supposed to reform him, but then he instead became indoctrinated. It became worse. I
Yeah.
guess he
Like I
lasted
said,
roughly 6 months before leaving the unit under a process known as released for
standards.
standards.
Released 4 standards. They released him because he wasn't up to snuff.
Yeah, so he wasn't good enough with the it sounds like it's insubordination. Um,
Hmm.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that implies maybe it's a pattern. It's what led him to be susceptible to this, or maybe because from the history of his outward expression on social media, he wasn't he wasn't like a commie crazy until more recently.
It sounds like he was always kind of an asshole, but then he found out that by being communist, you could be an asshole and almost get away with it. So
He can
I
be an
think that's
asshole and
kind of what happened.
feels superior about it the whole time.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I hope they are too, Willie Ram. He's saying, I hope the military is running an internal cleanup. Like, yeah.
This is crazy. This is just fucking crazy. Look at this guy. I just love the guy standing behind him and to the right with his mouth just slightly open.
Yeah.
It's just like something is happening, but I don't know what. Evaluating. Uh, it's so weird to move from something as serious as this as the implications of this to the next thing.
The next thing, yeah, I don't know anything about the next thing, so something
Okay,
about Dr. Seuss.
here you go. This is a letterhead, Melania Trump, given to some schools.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So I hope you had a wonderful summer and are excited to be back at school. Getting an education is perhaps the most important and wondrous opportunity of your young lives. I encourage each of you to take advantage of these special years while you're in school. Your education will be a lifelong pursuit that will sustain and carry you far beyond your wildest imaginations if you let it. As I was, as I then coughed to death, um, as I was thinking about your return to school, I wanted to send you a special gift. Dr. Seuss's
Dr.
Oh, the Places You'll Go is a book my son and I have read over and over again, and one that we want to share with all of you. It's perfectly fine. It's Melania Trump's just sending out books to different schools with this letter. Remember, the
Yeah.
key to achieving your dreams begins with learning to read. Find what you enjoy, anything that interests you, read about it. Every page will take you on an exciting journey. This is basic, like promoting education.
Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty standard.
Please also remember that you are the future of America and that you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. Your education is the path to pursuing your happiness. Never stop learning and challenging yourself, and never, ever give up on your dreams. I wish you all a great school year ahead. Very, very good, nice, standard little letter. You ready for
So
this?
I don't know that I am. All right.
Also, this site had a weird ad blob on it, but it was in the archive. I just deleted it from the page. It's very odd.
Interesting. So this site is, what's the site?
Oh, this one is
The porn book, family reading.
Yeah, H book, whatever that is, and this is a well, the article here is titled "Dear Miss Trump"
Dear Mrs. Trump.
by Liz.
Thank you for the 10
yeah,
Dr. Seuss book.
It's way too small, isn't it?
Yeah, there it is. Thank you for the 10 Dr. Seuss books. You sent to my school in recognition of this year's National Read a Book Day. Sent second day air, no less, must have been expensive. I'm proud you recognize my school as something truly special. It truly is. Our beautiful and diverse student body is made up of children all over the world, different socioeconomic status, spectrum of gender expressions and identities, with a range of abilities and not varied racial, ethnic, and a varied. I don't know where that not came from. Varied racial, ethnic, and religious backgrounds. According to the White House website, you select one school per state by working with the Department of Education to identify schools with programs that are achieving high standards of excellence, organized by state national awards, blue ribbons. Each of these two carefully vetted schools receive 10 books, which they read them all off. My students are interested in reading your enclosed letter and impressed with the beautiful book plates with your name and indelible White House stamp. However, we will scroll up a little more.
We will not be keeping the titles in our collection.
I like to respectfully offer my explanation.
Before the explanation, just look at the list of books here.
All right.
Seuss-isms. Because a little bug went ka-choo. What pet should I get? The Cat in the Hat. I can read with my eyes shut. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. The Foot Book. Wacky Wednesday, Green Eggs and Ham, and Oh, the Places You'll Go.
I actually have most of those books.
Yeah, they're all Dr. Seuss, right?
Yeah.
Most of them. I think they all
most
are.
of
them. Holy fuck, this rabbit hole. My school and my library are indeed award-winning. I work in a district that has plenty of resources, which contributes directly to excellence. I like how it's in quotes there. Cambridge, Massachusetts is an amazing city with robust social programming. What? A responsive city government, free all-day kindergarten. Wow, really? And well-paid teachers. Relatively speaking, many of us can't afford to live in the city in which we do. Yeah, I think it's that free all-day kindergarten.
Probably. My students have access to a school library with over 9,000 volumes and a librarian with a graduate degree in library science. Multiple studies show that schools with professionally staffed libraries improve student performance. The American Association of School Librarians has a great infographic on these findings. Many schools around the state and country can't compete.
And
yearly
infographic. Oops, sorry. I was just going to open the lovely infographic that they're using to justify. God damn, it's loading slowly. This is an infographic?
Yeah.
This is a report? That's a title of a report? This is the ugliest title page of a report I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
That's the graphic. That's the infographic. It looks like someone vomited words on a page.
Pretty much.
What the fuck is this? I am bothered. It's like the rustling.
Strong school libraries build strong students.
Isn't that an infographic? It's words and vomit on a page. There's no graphic to this info. It's just words, pictures. Okay. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I was the equivalent, however close I can get to triggered, I was triggered.
All right, so let's see. Yearly pupil spending in Cambridge is well over 20K. Our city's values, as such, given a huge range of socioeconomic status for our residents. We believe that each and every child deserves best free education as possible, working hard to maintain that reality. Most classrooms maintain 60-40 split between free, reduced lunch, and paid lunch.
Why is that relevant? Basically, she's bringing up all this shit about money and everything else and how good the area is and everything. It's like, okay, great. You're fluffing up your area. You fluffed yourself up by the fact that you've got a degree in library science.
Yeah.
My mother actually used to work at a library ages and ages ago. So
Really?
we had a lot of strange books in the house when I was very young. Yeah, she knows how to rebind books, which is
nice.
odd.
That's a talent.
But yeah, you don't need a degree in library science. It's mostly Dewey Decimal and sorting and just having enough information in your head.
Yeah.
But yeah, school. She's talking about how all these other school libraries are being shuttered: Philadelphia, Chicago, and Detroit. Are we really surprised about Chicago and Detroit?
No, I'm not surprised with Philadelphia either.
Apparently, privatization shutters school libraries.
Well, I can see why they would say that. Because if you privatize the library, then...
No, but if you privatize the school, doesn't it end up with a bigger library because it's using private funds?
Yeah, but that's restricted access because only students in that school would theoretically
It's already, but a school library is already restricted to access to the students.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So, wait, are you saying our universities are giving out a bunch of junk degrees? Yeah, yeah. I was trying to think of like a really good witty comeback for that.
The truth is, I could
like,
see
no,
somebody.
I got nothing. You're right.
I could see if maybe if a very low number of people got a library science degree, I could see them working in very large libraries, like you're talking like 3+ story libraries, massive buildings. I can see that being useful. Like literally, that's their career. That's all they're ever going to do. There's not that small number of people getting these degrees. I mean, she's working in a school library for like K through elementary.
All right, so let's see.
So here's the part that matters. The school, first, the fact that the school doesn't need the books, like the caps.
And there's the matter of the books themselves. You may not be aware of this, but Dr. Seuss is a bit of a cliche, a tired, warm ambassador of children's literature. What? Holy shit. As First Lady of the United States, you have an incredible platform with world-class resources at your fingertips. Just calm down. You have access, just down the street, you have access to phenomenal children's librarian, Dr. Carla Hayden, who's the Library of Congress. No doubt Dr. Hayden will have given some stellar recommendations. Another fact many people are unaware of is Dr. Seuss's illustrations are steeped in racist propaganda, characters, and harmful stereotypes. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard
Dr.
Seuss
is a leftist. Like, that's oh my gosh.
I live in Alabama, so I get country like radio. I get like the Hicks in the morning, like we're talking their whole song at the beginning sounds like it's missing a banjo, but then it'd be complete. They were talking about this. Podunk country syndicated. The people on my radio in the morning are syndicated, but they're country syndicated.
Yeah, that's
which means they're like in 3 states. All of them are country.
I imagine radio in your state kind of sucks, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I barely get any signal for anything.
I meant more like the music selection, but yeah, the signal too.
Just so you know that like the name of the 2 people who run this program are Rick and Bubba.
Of course they are.
Bubba. That's the radio in my area.
That's hilarious. All right.
Yeah.
You scrolled too fast.
They're both also highly religious.
Oh yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Like they work in churches.
God bless the South, man. You guys are so great.
So yeah, I heard about this on the radio this morning. That's how far this has gotten.
Yeah, I do often hear about this shit on the radio, but this one didn't make it to me. Let's see. So, unaware, Dr. Seuss's illustrations feature racist propaganda characters, harmful stereotypes. Open one of his books. If I ran a zoo, or to think if I saw it on Mulberry Street, for example, you'll see racist mockery in his art. Grace Wang Lynch's school library journal. Is the Cat in the Hat racist? Read across America shifts away from Dr. Seuss towards diverse books, of course.
It's the postmodernist shit where they say that the intent of the author doesn't matter. They then come up with their own idea for what the book or story or art means, which is still fine. But then for some reason, they attribute their understanding to the author, which is not even part of a postmodern analysis. That's not even a step of that. If they can't even get their own damn philosophy right.
Of course not. Wooly Ram says, pro tip, any books this Shrew doesn't like are probably excellent. And Yoda Khan's like, I can't wait till you get our list of recommended reading. Let's see, so we got ports. Let's see. Grace Wang Lynch's School Library Journal. Is the Cat in the Hat racist? Yeah. Reports that Katie Ishizuka's work analyzing the minstrel characters and trope nature, Seuss's characters, scholar Philip Neal's new book, was the Cat in the Hat black? It was a cat.
He's a black cat.
It's a cat. Cats don't have a race.
Well, I don't know. There are Siamese cats.
Well, there are those, yeah. So the hidden racism of children's literature and need for diverse books further explores and shines.
If the cat is black, is it not diverse? I don't understand.
Further explores and shines a spotlight on systemic racism and oppression in education and literature. I'm honored that you recognize my students in our school. I can think of no better gift for our children than books. It was a wonderful gesture, if one that could have been better thought out. Books can be an incredibly powerful way to learn about and experience the world around us. They help build empathy and understanding. In return, I'm attaching a list of 10 books, it's librarian in me, that I hope will offer you a window into the lives of many children affected by the policies of your husband's administration. You and your husband have a direct impact on these children's lives. Please make time to learn about them and value them. I hope you share these books with your family and kids across the country. I encourage you to reach out to your local librarian for more recommendations. Oh, yeah. This person looks like a winner. Look at that bitch.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I have a much better picture here thanks to Rain. Let me just find it here. Hold on. Here we go. A much better picture. Much better picture.
Boom.
There she is.
Blind people can.
Do you see the picture? Do you see the picture here?
That's her? What? Wait, what? Why? So,
all right. Oh, it makes me angry after I'm done choking to death.
So, librarian who rejected Melania Trump's racist Dr. Seuss book celebrates Dr. Seuss's birthday in costume.
Let's look at her list of books first.
Yeah, I want to see this. Yoda Khan was pretty excited for us to read it.
I have to settle a few things. Hold on. The package still isn't here. This is a little odd. Okay, now we can see the whole page.
All right, it's got to zoom in a little more. All right, Mrs. Trump, you sent 10 picture books, so I recommend 10 as well. There's so many more. My wish is that these books will help you see the beautiful resilience of children and stand for racism. Children are trying to connect with parents who are incarcerated because of their immigration status. Yeah.
My daddy's in prison.
Who integrate aspects of their own cultures and countries of origin in a new country. Children whose parents risked everything under the U.S. so they have a chance, future-free violence, poverty. Children who challenge society's social constraints are accepted and loved for who they are. All right, let's see what we got here. Number one, Auntie Yang's Great Soybean Picnic, written by Jenny Lowe. Okay. The Boy in the Bindi.
Look at the cover.
Drum Dream Girl, How One Girl's Courage Changed Music.
She's becoming a drummer. But only boys play drums.
Only boys play drums, but she does.
Wants to be a drummer. Oh my god.
The story is based on Milo Castro. Hold on. Milo Castro's during a Chinese African Cuban girl. who broke Cuba's tradition taboo against female drummers.
Chinese, African, Cuban.
Yeah,
that's like damn.
Yeah, that's a four for there.
Oh, and girl. Wow.
What's kind of interesting about that too? It's like, so they're attacking Cuba's traditions. Like, isn't that racist? I don't know. Maybe.
Oh no, because the traditions are sexist.
Oh right.
But I
King
mean,
for a day.
If you can spin it, then it's okay. Like with Muslims. Then again, Muslims aren't a race, so you have no risk of being racist.
That's true.
Islamophobic. I guess it's Islamophobia, then sexism, then racism. What's the current stack order?
I think it is Islamophobia.
Or are some races in different positions than others on the stack?
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, I think Islamophobia comes first, followed by sexism, and then racism is the order currently. King for a Day, which about cityscapes in Pakistan. Skillful uses handmade small kite to conquer the boy next door in a kite battle. Is a real hero, uses a wheelchair, and incidental to the story. So it's a crippled Pakistani kid with a kite. See, Mama's Nightingale, a story about immigration and separation. She was incarcerated.
That he uses a wheelchair is incidental to the story. Then why did you point it out in this? Why is this description of the book pointed out? This description that came from Horn Book Reviews. I don't understand. Okay.
Mama's Nightingale, a story of immigration and separation. Haitian American Thea's mother is incarcerated because she has no papers.
Where are your papers? Where are your papers?
The loneliness of missing your mother and trauma of saying goodbye at the detention facility. All right. My cold plum lemon pie bluesy mood. Jamie expresses shifting emotions of rainbow colors. Gold purple grape juice drinking. Bobbing to the beat kind of mood shifts into a gloomy gray kind of place when his brothers are mean and so on.
What?
Okay. His mood is essentially the kid's living mood ring. Red, a crayon story. Crayon red is labeled red, but he colors blue. What? Which creates frustration for the other colors, and thus Red himself. Red struggles until a new friend Barry asks him to make a blue ocean. Once he lets go of the label, everything turns around in the other crayon's mind. Smart design. Oh, that's so weird.
Oh my god!
Separate is never equal. Sylvia Mendez.
You know what they're pushing, though. You know what they're pushing with this. You know what this pushes. This red crayon. Oh my god. Sorry.
That pushes a lot of weird things.
Yeah, a lot of things.
Yeah, that's like
things that is not a good age to push. It's like I'm a jet plane. I know my label says human male, but I'm a jet plane.
Yeah, and furthermore, like that kind of goes against the whole teaching kids colors and shit.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's I'm laughing about that because it's a stupid concept. When you figure that's probably being read to like 3-year-olds and stuff, that's actually pretty harmful. Okay. Separate is never equal. Sylvia Mendez and her family's fight for desegregation.
I mean, okay, that there's not really anything wrong with that. It's just, it's Mexican Americans. That's what desegregation of schools in California of Mexican Americans. I'm slightly perplexed.
Well, it was late 40s, so.
I mean, I guess that works, but that's not really something I would use for a children's book because you don't really want children thinking about those particular types of issues because you don't want them to possibly integrate that into their thinking. You don't want them to think about segregation and things. And if you teach
kids who read these are going to grow up to be illiterate, Rain says. Yeah. I am the coyote reincarnate of Genghis Khan. Please respect my pillaging.
We are like the clouds.
Written by Jorge Agueta. Agueta's bilingual collection gives voice to refugee children who immigrate from Central American countries to the U.S. in search of safety and better lives.
Now, you see, if it said to Europe, I would say, how old does their teeth dating make them? 28?
See, they include whimsical imagery, but also scary threats. So it's a book about illegal alien children. Two white
Well, it
rabbits.
doesn't necessarily say they're illegal. They could actually be like.
Oh yeah, they could be illegal
Actual
immigrants.
refugee status. Like, don't assume illegal.
That's
But
fair.
it's refugee immigrant poems.
Yeah.
Because
Two White Rabbits by
Poetry.
somebody. Translate. A girl and her father travel by foot, raft, and train. As they travel, girl counts things she sees, count the people who live by the train tracks. Originally published in Spanish. Child refugee.
travel to where exactly?
Yeah, contemplative graphic illustrations clearly depict the pain, frustration, and boredom of the journey, because that's what kids want to read about.
This quiet
Yeah,
picture book.
Yode Khan makes up a really good point. Like, Wooly Ram says these books are soul poison, and he's not wrong. Then Yode Khan says these books have one great problem for kids. They're boring. That's before getting into the vile social propaganda. Yeah.
This quiet picture book highlights the experience of a child refugee or immigrant. They're referring to all of the refugees who just walk long distances to get somewhere, or the illegal aliens who walk across the border with, which is quite a journey to do on foot, honestly.
Mm.
Liz Phillips Serio. Liz Phillips Serio. Liz Phillips Serio? The
So
cat in the
this-
hat, then Dr. Seuss is racist. Dr. Seuss is racist. Dr. Seuss is racist, guys. Dr. Seuss is racist. I can't zoom in anymore.
So when was this that she did this?
I'm not sure.
Uh,
Whenever Dr. Seuss's birthday was.
Yeah, Willie Ram's actually got a good point too. Boring and dull books are the big reason for diminishing literacy in the West. You're not wrong.
As I fuck up my headphones, I barely read. I've barely read in the past because of that. The shit that school expected me to read. The good stuff that we read was only normally small pieces, excerpts was the good stuff.
Yeah.
Most
Actually-
of the Shakespeare was excerpts. We did actually read Hamlet properly.
Yeah, I only read excerpts of anything until high school, which actually was kind of different too, because like I went to city schools until high school, and then I went to a suburban school, and
I was in a good suburb school district the whole time, but education's changed. Don't really read whole stories very much, except for the summer reading program where they would force you to read really awful books and then do assignments for them. And I would say fuck no, and my mother would say fuck no, and I'd read a different book and not do a single assignment at the direction of my own parents.
Nice. Yeah, you're also significantly younger than me too, though. So the curriculum's probably changed since.
Am I? How much? How old are you?
I'm 32, and you're like 25, right?
No, I'm 28.
You're 28?
Yes.
I thought you were much younger than that. You're older than my wife.
No, but it has been. How long have you been doing this for?
Oh yeah, I guess like 2 years. Okay.
You just never added 2.
Yeah, I guess I didn't. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking you're like 26 years old. Okay. That's.
Well, no, the 25 might have been accurate depending on when my birthday falls versus when it started too.
Right. Okay. That explains a lot. Shit. Yeah, I'm behind. Okay. Yeah, you're not much younger than me.
Yeah, I have some of the free books you've tweeted about, Rain, and I know one of them was a bunch of short stories, so I should read those.
Pippi Longstocking was banned in Sweden for racist terminology. That's kind of sad, actually.
Oh, this is a tweet. Oh, this is from 2015, but yeah, this is a tweet from the 3rd of March, 2015. So either she's become this way in 2 years, or
she's just trying to stick it to the Trumps because she's a bitch. Well,
you know,
anyway.
Everything's changed so rapidly in just 2 years.
Yeah.
About it. Look at this: green eggs and no ham. Also, these eggs look really bad. I guess they're not cooked yet. Look at them. They're not green, but they're not cooked. Maybe they're scrambled. Maybe they're scrambled.
They might be scrambled.
But it looks like they cooked in the plastic cup or something.
Oh,
Nice looking. Or is it, no,
Rain
that's
says keep
orange.
reading. They explain the flip flop.
I'm an
In that
idiot.
article.
I'm an orange juice. This is orange. This is the green eggs are up on the upper left. I just didn't notice them because they're green.
Right.
They
Apparently, go back to the article. Or go back in there. It explains the flip.
Here it is. She apparently thought it was appropriate 2 years ago, when she appears to have dressed up as the cat, and hosted a green egg breakfast in honor of Dr. Seuss's birthday. A Twitter account which she runs, according to the bio listed at the bottom of her screen, aimed at the First Lady tweets about. Yeah, okay. But where's the change?
Here. Condescending letter takes aim at the First Lady's decision to send a school copy of The Places You'll Go. Book Millennia explained was read there some barren over and over. Yeah, be aware of this, but yeah, we read that already. Scroll down. This isn't the first time Phillips Cheerios fired shots at Millennia. In 2016, the same Twitter account she operates tweeted shade at Millennia in September over a speech she delivered at the Republican National Committee, which is very similar to Michelle Obama's speech in 2008.
Yeah, a few pieces. Is that
a yeah, it's not the first time that Phillips Surrey used books to get political. The same account that tweeted photos of the book displays political themes, which appear to be on display in the library she runs. Gay and lesbian history for kids. Lovely.
I like the Lost and Found Cat. It's a true story, apparently. I'm going to guess that the cat was lost before a refugee or something.
Notice it's not a dog because they're Muslims.
Well, maybe that's why there was no ham for the green egg breakfast.
Oh, right.
Or maybe they just don't do ham.
Yes, sir. All right, read after the green egg breakfast tweet, apparently.
He's a bit behind because of the stream delay, so right under that.
Yeah, okay, go ahead and scroll back up a little then.
But yeah, I don't see what caused that because it's still not here. It's
yeah, maybe I missed it. Oh, we already saw it. Okay.
I already saw it. I don't see it. I don't see what made her change her mind.
I just assume she went crazy.
She just doesn't like Trump. Is the best I can gather.
Yeah. Well,
that's the best I got.
The treat where she's forcing kids to watch.
Fuck! I didn't even notice that.
Oh. Thank you for sleep. Yeah, I didn't catch that either.
I noticed it was a projector, and I never caught on. That's a whiteboard. She's projecting it on a whiteboard in a classroom.
That's insane. Yeah. Does she have children? I don't know if this woman has children or not. Normally I would say no.
For helping to teach these fourth graders about plagiarism and copyright.
Right. I would normally say no, she probably doesn't have children because, she's a social justice leftist and they generally hate kids, but she is a school teacher, so. Yeah, women without children go batty after 28 or so. You're not kidding. That's. Arm yourself with knowledge, read more of these in the library.
I still am a bit confused as to what actually. Whoa, look at that Statue of Liberty with a red fist.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
But what made her... Is it just the pure tribalistic, I hate Trump? And now she's
yeah.
Or at some point did she decide Dr. Seuss was racist before this event, and this just allowed her... Or is this a case of, the mind revising history? Or, she hates the Trumps. So when she gets this letter with Dr. Seuss books, then she then looks for a reason to hate them, determines that they're racist, and then backfills her history to say that she always believed that they were racist. Is that what this is?
Yeah.
2015, and 2016. Okay.
1 year, man. It's crazy.
I think honestly, the past year, the past 2 years, the stuff that's been happening politically has been so rapid. The was it balkanization?
Like,
It's been so fast. Where people
I
who
wouldn't say
were
balkanization. I think galvanization is what you're looking for.
that would be, yeah, okay, galvanization. The people
Yeah.
who were previously so sensible, that you just disagreed with them politically on certain things, they just went like turbo communist or something. They just
Well, I think
it's insane.
Trump's election had a lot to do with that, because I think they were kind of pushing like this like steady gradual like decline into hell, and then when Trump got elected, they saw like their utopian vision of the shithole they want to run about to collapse, so they went into like overdrive to try to push it as fast as possible.
I'm aware Diverse Books started a while ago. One of the summer reading books I was supposed to read back in high school was about a retarded kid who painted his toenails and something about swans. I didn't read it, so I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I believe
I might
you.
have just remembered the title. Let's see if I remember the title. No, actually, it says children's novels, so that's possible, although maybe not.
So, let's see. Murray gave us a video to go out on here.
No, this actually could be it. I don't know if this is the right book, but it says children's novel about a 14-year-old Sarah Godfrey's search for her missing mentally challenged brother Charlie.
Oh, yeah, you weren't kidding when we were retarded.
No, I was not kidding. Let's see if toe paint. Fuck. I'm still not used to the mechanical keyboard because all the keys feel the same and they're all very touchy browns, so they instantly trigger.
Rain says Newberry's always been cancer. Isn't the Newbery medal like the award you get when you like kill a dog in a book? Like I'm pretty certain like a dog or a little kid has to die in a book to get the Newbery medal. Like that's kind of like.
I think this is the book. I didn't read it. I don't know, but I think this was the book because it's got the word swan in the title. It's got swans. It's got a retarded kid. I think it's the right book. I didn't read it. I read The Giver instead because fuck that.
Well, The Giver's a good book.
Yeah, it is. And the movie I haven't seen, but I've seen snippets, and it's
the movie's not bad. The movie's not terrible. It takes some weird liberties, but
they change things. I just from the trailer, I could tell that they change things that make certain parts not logically consistent.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
The universe is not consistent with itself in that movie.
Well, yeah, they added like a whole romance subplot that just didn't need to be there.
Well, also, they had like this, just the whole way the whole thing worked, the enforcement and everything.
Mm.
But yeah, this is disturbing. I couldn't tell if this was an echo chamber effect or something else, but I never paid attention. I only paid minor attention to politics. I was already a bit, on the right side of things. I wouldn't call myself a conservative, though. I was an independent. Now I'd say strong libertarian, anarchist, but at the time I was just like a soft libertarian. But I remember when Gamergate started, I felt like stuff was very rapidly like going a little bit sideways. But then I talk to people and I like in my family about other things, political stuff. It's like, okay, no, it's just here. It's just in this small section where these people are overreaching and going too far. It's just in this. It's just this. It's just
but they're
this.
kind of spilling out now.
Just this, and then the year happens, and then a little bit more time, and then Trump gets elected, and I then see it everywhere. Like actually, when Trump was a candidate, once he became the candidate, I saw it everywhere, and I was like, when did this stop being just here in my stupid little video game stuff, which I enjoy very much? When did it stop being here and start being everywhere? Is it just that it was always there in both cases, but it just got triggered in both cases? Once in the small
scale. I think it was always there. It was just
and then with Trump, with the election, nationwide, it got triggered by Trump.
Yeah, I think it was always there. It's just like it kind of depends on the amount of resistance in the group. Because like before Gamergate, I'd seen it before, like at anime conventions and stuff. Like I'd seen these people,
Really?
and it's like, oh God,
I
really?
have
Yeah.
never been to an anime convention. I was.
Okay, yeah, I actually got lucky enough to be roomed with one of these people, but although they were actually pretty cool there, mostly because I didn't see them, but yeah, that's a whole other thing.
The
But
last
and
time
then
I was at a convention, it was a computer convention, and I got in for half price because they thought I was young enough.
nice.
At the place, I bought X-Car, SU-27 Flanker, and I think I might have gotten Shattered Steel. These are all DOS 3D accelerated games. Does that help you date when this was?
Yeah, Yodi Khan says he is a professional writer and editor in his family, so he's been aware of this for a very long time. And then FI saying it's been longer than 50 years, and Rain saying at least 80. So
Wow. Like I knew they
yeah,
were around because my family was right of what would be considered center in New Jersey,
okay,
which is really weird because my father was a public school teacher. So
yeah.
you know, union and everything. Oh, it's great. He tried to be. He has to be in a union. So he's like, okay, can I be in this other teachers union? And it's like, yeah, you can, but then you still have to pay dues to the primary one as well.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So yeah,
Unions are
that's
canceled.
yeah. I think we're almost done, honestly. But yeah, this is.
Mm.
I'm ever more disturbed by this, and just knowing that it's been going on for like 50, 80, whatever, however many years. It's like this predates my existence, and it's
Yeah,
just
it's
like
just been kind of a very slow burn, and they're just suddenly like cranking it into overdrive because I think they're afraid Trump's going to reverse it. I
I'm
think they're
wondering
legitimately scared.
how much
And the
of it
thing
has
is,
affected me that I've not known.
mm,
There's a then again, maybe that's why it's pushed me to become as cynical as I have. So I'm a very mechanical thinker. I'm a very logical thinker for things. Things have to make consistent physical sense, and these things don't.
yeah,
So maybe that's why I've become as pessimistic as I have, because I'm constantly being presented with stuff in the world that they're claiming does not work by these basic fundamental rules, when it actually does. I don't know. I'm bothered.
well, Murray gave us a video to check out if you want to pull up the theater.
Oh, you want to actually? Okay, sure.
Yeah, I put the link in the thing already. And
Oh,
then
you
afterward,
okay?
Rain's got
I'm
something he wants to send us too. He said he's got a theory that he wants you to hear. So we can check with that after we get the
sorry. I just
theater.
saw the Shadow of the Hedgehog taking a knee.
Oh yeah, that's pretty funny.
I'm trying to find. There's the hangout window.
Oh yeah,
Oh
I would
shoot.
say I put it in the sidebar window.
Oh no,
The
hold
link.
on. I'm having lag because the cat just crashed.
Oh, gotcha.
Sometimes when the cat crashes, the whole system lags because that's why it crashed. Um,
Did you want to come on, Rain?
yeah, if you want to come on and
Yeah,
explain
I'll
the
send Rain a
horrors.
link after the video.
Okay, I'm just re-engaging the system here.
Let's see here.
It takes a minute. Mainly because I really should just change this program to automatically select the correct settings. Because I mean, I wrote the fucking thing, but everything they need to do is completely rewrite the cat driver.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, that's a wardrobe change. Okay, we'll allow that. Okay, video. Got it. Great. Where'd my tab go that I put everything? Fuck me. Okay, hold on. We're getting there. We're getting places.
Blind people describe racism. This should be exciting.
Oh God, is it gonna have anything to do with colors? Oh wait, that's the wrong one. That's also the wrong one. Hello. Hello. No, not that one. There we. Okay then.
All right.
I am having trouble finding where one fully loaded combo begins or ends and the other one begins.
You can just clear them both out. It's not a big deal.
I'm close enough. It's an optical illusion. You can't tell anyway. Okay, audio on and begin horror show.
So
This is 4 minutes.
You're blind. You must not be racist, right?
I am racist.
Oh no! No!
Jacob Kamaunu, and I am a restaurateur.
My name is Mike Mello, and I have light perception, so I can tell like the lights are on or the studio lights are on, but I can't
Oh,
like,
now he's super racist. He can
see
see
anything
lights.
else.
I can't see anything, no lights, no color, anything. Totally dark.
No.
No. I would like to think that I'm not. However, there are the stereotypes that have been instilled in everyone.
I am racist because I think every white person is racist. I participate in institutions, like I benefit from capitalism,
Oh, God.
which was
Ah!
on slavery and racism.
I've
What the hell is
experienced
this? This is cancer.
racism.
I don't
Let it bother me.
This
I
is
think
too-
allowing
this is
it
kinda long.
to
Okay,
affect
we can cut it. We can cut this. Thank you for that, Murray.
Oh, there's a lot of different reasons people can be blind, and some of them can result in like having oddly shaped eyes.
Like people are saying that they're.
I was just joking when I asked if it's because they can't see color. I thought that was clever, but
Willie Ram's like, good night, you faggots. I'm not watching this cancer. I'll catch it, Willie Ram.
yeah, I always stopped it already. Holy shit!
Yeah. Yeah, that's. Oh man.
Oh my god! It just
All right, yeah, I'll send Rain the link real quick, and
it's just them
We're in-
self-flagellating for.
we're gonna have to call it soon so we get dinner. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, my package still hasn't come yet. Or
Oh,
if it did-
you only got a half hour before.
well,
all right,
I said that
drop the link in Discord, Rain.
Normally they send the stuff by 8, but because I'm in the country, they end up later than 8 all the time. But normally UPS always delivers before 8.
Hmm.
That's when they're done. But the truth is that they're actually done when the truck is empty.
So
So
there might be a late day.
I gotten packages as late as 10 before.
Oh wow. Okay. So, are we gonna hear the doorbell when the package shows up?
Oh yes, because it's sitting on my desk, and I will probably jump.
Really loud. Is Rain here? No. No, he's not.
I don't know. I didn't expand the window, so I can't tell. I'll just put your second.
No,
Five
he's not.
Guys,
I
Neo
would
Theory.
I would see the wolf if when he's here.
Yeah, I'll put your second
Hopefully
Five
when you
Guys
prefer.
meal on screen, you badass.
I really like that sewer, the it sewer there. That's pretty cool. What you need to do is you need to get like your logo with like animated cat eyes and just like have it like and they're all dark.
It all floats down here.
I actually
That
also
sounds
really
slightly
like.
Southern. What did I just do?
I really like also the shadow effect like over the lower half.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that shadow. Look at that shadow. That's
You
how
had
do
way
this.
too much fun with that. Hey, there's Rain.
And of course, because Hangouts loves to fuck me over, it's put him to the left of your second person.
That's fine. I'm not too worried about it.
I'll fix it.
Can you
What
hear
happened
me?
to our chat though?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay, so do you want me to start now, or did I interrupt you?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so you guys mentioned how originally it was just limited to video games, and then there is a reason for that. The reason is because of the Gamergate label, which to participate in Gamergate, to care about this particular controversy in video games, you had to be a gamergator, and people didn't like that, so it was a lot more limited than it would have been otherwise. There's also the fact that it was video games, and a lot of people don't really care about video games, but that's besides the point, because it is multi-billion-dollar industry and whatnot.
But it was an isolated occurrence.
Yes. Then something happened on the early June 2015. There was a post on the Gamergate Revolt board on 8chan called "A Guide on How to Win," and it went over a lot of things, a lot of like the history of Reddit, the current state of Gamergate, and a lot of what led up to how it became that way. We're basically just saying, okay, here's what all the problems are. Here's why you have SJWs. Here's all that stuff. And then in the second half, yes. So we are, in a way, we are tooting our own horn with this. But I don't know how much the video. I don't know how much the video had, because it has like 2,000 or so. 2,500 views. Yeah. But anyway, around when this post came out is kind of when you notice things start to change. And the second half of this post is essentially laying out 5 different strategies that you can use to essentially win this ideological war that we've been fighting since around the 30s or so, or whenever, depending on how you view things. Yeah, let me link it in the chat here.
Okay.
Once you go down to, let's see.
Oh wow, that's nice. Actually.
Yeah. You go down to around the first third, and they'll say, okay, the first one would be Counter Strategy 1 expansion, which is basically, don't just talk about this on the Anon image boards, to bring this up in real life, that sort of thing. Like if your family's talking about I don't know, Netflix. Let's say they're talking about Netflix and they're saying, boy, that Neo Yokio show is terrible and that Big Mouth show doesn't look any better. Well, you can just casually bring up that George Soros is a Netflix investor, and that's probably why. And then you can go into how this is why they have all this weird foreign religion stuff, because they're pushing multiculturalism. And then you can go into what multiculturalism is if they don't understand, and there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, then you have,
that's the big thing, is just coming up with reasons to bring it up, basically, in conversations outside.
Okay, counter strategy number 2 is sterilization. The example that he gives, basically what that is you make it so that the bad ideas can no longer float. Like this could be teaching your children that communism has failed every time that it has been tried. And it can also be the example he gives is the End Father's Day campaign, which Paul started, and then all the SJWs who's got that, they started doing it genuinely, and now everyone kind of freaked out over that, and now they realize kind of what's happening in that regard.
So it's kind of just revealing their insanity for what it is.
Yes, exactly. The idea is you present their argument. Ooh, and a good recent example would be the one where they're trying to get transgenders on the NFL cheerleader squads.
Yes.
Yeah. You present their argument, but you don't sugarcoat it at all. Like you just say, let's get big, overweight, really ugly trannies on the NFL cheerleader squad. That's a great idea, isn't it, guys? Haha.
And the thing is, they'll go for it.
And then the SJW think, yeah, that is a great idea. And then there you go. At least in theories.
Free bleeding was part of that too, wasn't it?
I hope so. I don't know. That's the thing, is You really can't tell with a lot of them unless you see the original pull thread or whatever.
Right.
It's kind of like a Poe. That's the thing. It's a Poe. It's a parody, but the intent is that it looks entirely serious, and they latch onto it.
Okay, Counter Strategy 3 is anonymity. Admittedly, at least from what I've seen, this one hasn't caught on as well. Admittedly, they're currently taking steps to destroy this counter strategy. One of them is apparently on YouTube. You cannot do. You know how IA deleted his channel and came back under a new name?
Yeah.
You can't. Apparently, you can no longer do that. If I were to delete my YouTube channel and then come back under a different name, and then someone searched my old YouTube channel, they could still find me because of the way that YouTube recognizes my voice. Though at the same time, I guess if you search for my name, you might be able to get this stream. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, basically, the point behind anonymity is that way it's a guard against ego. You like think of all of the Next Generation, Star Trek: The Next Generation, and how you can't follow any of the people who were on that show on Twitter because they're all they've all turned into terrible people, pretty much, just to put it bluntly. And the same is more or less true for a lot of the voice actors on the new My Little Pony show. I mean, look at Tara Strong. She's been pushing a lot of SJW crap.
Let's say My Little Pony?
Ages.
That one?
Yes.
That's a shame.
There's a reason.
Bad, but...
Well, no. The show is fine. The voice actors in their private lives, on their personal Twitter accounts, are just acting like idiots, basically.
Well, yeah.
Isn't that's primarily a factor of Hollywood stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's a reason.
You get that pretty all through Hollywood.
Twitter is specifically designed to make you think you're the greatest person ever, and that you're always right, and your opinions are amazing. So you're going to turn into a horrible, awful person once you reach a certain follower threshold, pretty much, unless
and suddenly
you just turn off all
notifications.
Yeah, exactly. You just nailed it. Like it's the same. It's the same with all those indie devs. It's the same with every voice actor who's popular, every Hollywood star who actually pays attention to the Twitter. That's why George Takei is so insufferable.
Well, I think Fez was one of the first indie games that got a lot of play on Twitter. The development of Fez.
It might have been, actually. I don't know.
Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff about how he used Twitter to push out information and how the little GIFs and stuff of the levels and the way the game looked played well into small little bits that would be tweeted out. So, basically, Phil Fish had a game that was aesthetically and gameplay-wise perfect to demonstrate in tiny little tweets.
Yeah. The problem with Fez, though, is that the gameplay is not very good. There's no penalty there aren't any enemies, and the only way you can die is you fall too far. And the penalty for dying is you respawn back where you were. So, yeah, it's not even as
it's a puzzle
difficult
game.
as like a Star Wars.
Yeah, it's a puzzle game where even though you're moving in a platform, it's puzzle. It's not platformer. It's just the platform is the vehicle to get through the puzzles. Yeah. Honestly, I prefer just regular puzzle games like Escape Goat's one of my favorites. That one. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. Basically,
I would say, what's the kind of strategy before?
I'm good at that.
The reason why the anonymity thing hasn't, at least in my opinion, caught on as well is because with anonymity, it's much more difficult or even impossible to earn money from your political activism or whatever you're doing. Yeah. Like you cannot sell a book about Donald Trump while anonymous. You just can't. You can distribute it through the Chan networks, and hey, who knows? Maybe plenty of people will read it. I know I've seen the EPUB dumps that are just full of loads and loads of books, so I'm sure someone's got to be reading them. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say I'm like pseudonymous. Like, people know the first name, but. Yeah, but I don't do this to make money either. So
I'm lucky in that my name is a very common name. Believe it or not, it actually is, because John that's very common. But my last name is very common.
My last name is not common at all. So
here's the thing: you can use a pseudonym, but that doesn't really excuse me, that the problems are still there. Like Chuck Tingle is not obvious. It's obviously not his actual name. But if you were to poll, okay, maybe, but for all intents and purposes, it's a pseudonym. Except that the same problem of ego is still present, because if he pulled an IA every 6 months, his books wouldn't sell as well, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Okay, now here's the big one. This is the one that I think we've seen the most of. Counter Strategy 4, narrative cracking. This one is basically I'm trying to think of it. There are loads and loads of examples. The problem is picking one. What is an example of one recently?
Narrative cracking. Trying to think.
Yeah, because it's like one every other day, it seems like.
Shit, I'm trying to think of one now. Like, well, I guess like the let's go with the standard Quinn narrative, I guess, for like people that understand Gamergate or whatever.
Okay, yeah, because that one, the counter narrative isn't really much better from what I hear. Like, she has a book out, and I have not heard really good things about Gramachu's book from what I hear, and I'll admit I haven't read it, so don't take what I'm saying as
I was gonna say he's not really a whole lot better.
Well, yeah, what I've heard is that his book is just as much narrative spinning, just in the Gamergate favor. So that isn't really a good example. A good one would be like, okay, here's a good example. There was, after not Charlottesville, the BLM riots, one of them, there was a girl who CNN was saying, oh, don't go, it was Charleston. It might have been Charleston. I forget what it doesn't matter where it was. Basically, the girl who was CNN was saying, see, this guy who died, his sister is asking for peace, and she's like, don't bring the violence here. In reality,
bring that shit to the suburbs.
Yes, in reality, she was saying, bring it to the suburbs. Or smash theirs. We need ours. That kind of thing. And then it's really easy to just take the full video, put that next to the CNN one, and then you blow people's minds, pretty much. Yeah. That's the one that we see that basically like every other week at the very least. Because every other week there's some new narrative from CNN and the rest.
Well, that's the thing too, is they don't understand, and I don't know if they're just incapable of it or if they just try anyway and there's nothing they can do about it. But everybody's got access to the internet, so people are going to find this footage, and they're going to destroy your narrative.
You say that, but the truth is, look at how big the internet is. You say they're going to find it, but the truth is that you either have to look really hard or someone has to show it to you. And if you don't know that you have to look for something, are you going to actually find it?
Well, that's true, but at the same time, you have so many people on the internet, somebody's going to find it. And once they release it, it's going to spread.
Yeah.
So how will they release it, though? And how will it actually
on Twitter usually?
On the Chamboard or Twitter? Or...
okay. It starts on the Chamboards. Then it goes over to Twitter with accounts like Poll News, Infinity, and Orwell and Good and whatnot. Then it makes its way to sites like Voat, different parts of Reddit, and Funny Junk. And occasionally Imgur. Depends with Imgur, because you can just report it and they'll take it down. But sometimes they'll have a few of the better ones. Yeah.
So I mean, that's the thing. It's like you'd think that, like, I know they'll never stop with the narrative, but it feels like every time they do it, they're so sloppy about it.
Yeah. The way I see it, I mean, there can't be that many people who are reading CNN. I mean, I didn't read them before Gamergate. The only place that I really read was like Penny Arcade, Age Report, and the sites they link to.
So what's the fifth counter strategy?
Okay, the fifth one is synergetic synthesis. Basically what that is what Gamergate was, though Gamergate wasn't the first example.
Okay.
What you had with Gamergate was you had people who were interested in politics and people who were interested in video games coming together to to be a really strong force, a stronger force than
they would have been
they would be on the low.
individually against a bunch of people that are in pushing the opposite politics individually.
Yeah, I mean, nobody has just one interest. You know, I like video games. I like sci-fi fantasy books, and yeah, and then you bring these groups together, and they can really do something. Like, that was an example of this. Would be the way that you had Reddit and 4chan working together during the thing with CNN, where someone took a 4chan meme and posted it to Reddit, and then Donald Trump found it and tweeted it out. You know, the wrestling one with CNN. Yeah, and how everyone was really, really pissed at CNN over that.
On that vein, where did the most recent one where it shows Trump golfing and then it hits Hillary Clinton getting into the plane? Where'd that one come from? Because that was great too.
I don't know. I don't think I've seen that one.
Did Trump tweet that one out?
I'll find it.
Okay, Neil, quit me up.
But yeah, I mean, haven't you guys noticed that especially number 4, these have been happening more and more since this post was written? Like right around that time, in June 2015.
Interesting. Yeah. So you think because they started doing counter strategies, the social justice people started doubling down and going apeshit everywhere? Or?
Oh, definitely. Like that's all the SJWs had was doubling down, you know?
Mm.
Like they can't seed it, or then that means that they're the horrible, awful centrists who were fascist apologists. They have to double down on it and go full steam ahead.
Yeah. Interesting.
This is it.
I have an echo, but it was worth it. So good.
Yeah, CNN freaked out about this one. They have a whole big article on it.
Oh, did they dox poor Mike up there?
Oh, probably.
That's really funny. All right, we should probably go ahead and call it there. So this went on a bit longer than I thought it would, considering we only had like a couple topics. I want to thank the chat. We've had an awesome chat today. You guys have been really cool.
Thank you very much.
FI says Fallout 1 is free on Steam till September 30th, so grab that.
Yeah, if you don't already have it.
If you don't already have it, which actually
YoTCon was very helpful during the bit with the Commie West Point.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, YoTCon. And we'll catch you all next week. Until then, adios.
They all float down here.